Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles on KwingsLetsPlays, brought to you by our friends over at Capcom, who provided a copy of this game for review, walkthrough, and of course, live streaming purposes. Today, we are on the final case of the first game of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, I believe is what it was called, in Japan, and this is the remainder of the case. Last time, Benedict scrambled and tried to get away from us, and now, not Ace, Naruhodo is going to take him down, although it'll take the entirety of this stream. My guess is this stream is going to take about, probably this will be a 2-hour case, and then Mario and Luigi will follow afterwards. But hopefully you guys are having a good one. Thank you so much for supporting the Black Panther stream last night, as well as for your convenience. There is Black Panther episodes that will release at noon from now on, until the series is done, and if you don't have time to watch the 4-hour stream, then of course you can go and check that out, which is always fun.
I don't know, Luke. I think I want to change Black Panther, his avatar a little bit, because it looks like he has jaundice. His eyes are yellow.
Oh my gosh, his eyes are supposed to be yellow with that skin.
Okay.
So anyway, without further ado, people, it is time to head back into the courtroom and see what happens with the case of the box.
And yes, Struggle and everyone else are on the hype train. Hype, hype, hype. Blue X is on the hype train. The Pokemon Direct was great. What? Pokemon Direct? There was a Pokemon Direct? Oh, wow. Hey, Drago. Hey, Goki. Hey, everyone. This is Conductors K-Wife and K-Wing are doing their final inspections. Alright, guys. Hype, hype, hype. Objection! That's right, Nana Kiamano. Thaddeus is like hype. Tom has his ticket for the hype train. This could be the finale of the first game. Totally OH.
Oh, it's the finale of the first game.
And I am sorry. I got milk on the table. You want me to get a paper towel? Sorry, I messed up the table.
Alright, here we go. So this is the article in question, is it? A small box deposited within the pawnbroker by Mr. McGiddle 2 months ago. 2 months prior. Yes. And on the night of Mr. Windibank's murder, too. The only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke in on the shop was this. Amber.
Oh, quick! Quick! Let's open it and see what's inside!
It's not gonna be anything inside.
Alright, Tara Ann and Renee are ready for the hype train.
Oh, it's a music box. Good gracious, this is no ordinary box, it seems.
A music box!
Wow, although in truth, I had no inkling that might be the case. Wow. It would appear that the box houses a miniature music box movement.
Uh-oh, why is he mad?
Then is it too much to expect? I think it would be reasonable to assume that this is the device for the playback of the disc, my lord. Ooh, interesting.
Ooh.
Very well, so here we have the means to play back Mr. McGiddle's disc deposited at Windibank's at much the same time. Very interesting. Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not Mr. McGiddle's disc. It was the disc of the victim in the omnibus. But why? For heaven's sake! Are we to understand that the brickmaker was trying to sell this music box disc to Mr. McGiddle? Excuse me, Your Honor. I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc, my lord. Yes, very well, I agree. Let the court now listen to the curious disc at last. Hold it! Wait, my lord! Good grief, what is the meaning of this, Inspector? The music box and disc are, well, they're unrelated to the case. No need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly bit of music.
Objection!
No, the disc may very well have motivation for the culprit in the case to commit murder.
That's right!
Clearly, there's every chance that it's fundamentally important to the understanding of what happened. The prosecution has no objection. I am curious to see how this plays out. Let me get my popcorn.
He's so confident.
But that piece of evidence is bullet.
What?
Clearly, Scotland Yard has more vested interest here. Interesting. But it is a policy of the prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored. And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening.
Uh-oh.
Without no further delays, please play the disc. I am also a music lover. I have a collection of music boxes at home.
The vampire guy is very much like Edgeworth.
Mm-hmm.
He has like his same personality. It's Morse code. It's Morse code.
You're right. It's some type of code.
That's not a song.
That's not a song.
It's a code.
What on earth? That's certainly not what I would call music. No. It's just the same note playing over and over again in an irregular sequence. Mr. Graydon? This really is priceless. After all that, the music box is broken. Broken? It can't be, can it? Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised. If the officer sent to fetch it didn't drop it on the way back to the courtroom.
It's not broken.
Well, well, with much regret. I feel the court must accept this music box offers little in any ways of clues. You ready to move on, Consul?
No, it's...
Come on!
It's not broken.
Yes, alright, it does sound as though it's completely broken, but is it? Could this music emanating from the box possibly have a new clue?
That one lady in the jury can read Morse code. She's a telegraph operator.
Ah.
How convenient!
What, did I mess up?
No.
I believe that it could be relevant, my lord. Good lord, what? But how could it be? It's an abomination, Consul. Mere noise. I fail to see how it can have any meaning whatsoever. It's because you're not that smart. It does sound strange, I agree. But there's one thing bothering me. While Graydon stands there, laughing victoriously...
Shortling.
Ow!
Oh, sorry, Luke.
And the inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face. It's as if Gregson recognizes a sound, as if he's familiar with it somehow. And that's making him appear extremely on edge. If that is the stance of the defense, my Nipponese friend, answer me these. Oh, yes. I play the music again. Just what relevance do you propose this woeful chiming has on the case? Well, it's the defense's belief that the sound emanating from this box is very well not supposed to be music. Amber thinks it's Morse code.
I think it's a code.
Just because there's a music box, it doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music.
And the chat is all saying code. Morse code.
Look at that. The smile vanished from Graydon's lips as soon as I said that. Haha. Checkmate. I'm the one right here. I must be.
Ha! Making deductions based on how people react to what you say. Raynell, you're acting just like Hurley.
Objection!
Wait a second. The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music. Well, now that you have told us what they are, you must explain what it is. I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Japanese friend. Well, surely you have an idea in mind, because if not, I will point. It will be the death of your ill-formed argument. Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is foolishness. They got me, huh? I don't know what the answer is yet. Oops.
Oh, Raynell?
Yes?
I've just examined the music box very thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I'm fairly certain that it's not broken at all.
Really?
Really? The way it's been made, it can only produce a single note anyway.
Thank you, Iris.
You're welcome.
Hmm. Alright. Well, if the music box isn't broken, it must mean that the sound it's producing has some significance that isn't musical. Ah! Could it be? Is that what these sounds are? Did you figure it out, Ryunosuke?
Something's just struck me, Runo. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even,
Careful of her head.
I've heard another sound, very much like the one in this music box makes.
Yes, it is a familiar sound. Actually, Iris, I was just thinking exactly the same thing. I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer, please. If your assertion is that sound produced by this music box is in fact not music, then what the devil is it, Consul? Although the evidence has been, we've seen so far, all the testimony we've heard, it's all pointing to one single answer right now. Yes, the prosecution demands that my learned friend presents proof now. Tangible proof of this latest wild speculation.
The chat is saying examine the music box.
Alright then. This could be the best chance I'm going to get to fight back in this trial. And if I'm right, it's gonna join all the dots together. The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds on this music disc are... did we have, like, a newspaper? I want to examine this.
Okay.
Pawnbroker perishes in pickpocket plunder. How awful! For Guinea, I mean.
But tomorrow's headline will be Discharged Diver is Dauntless Do-Gooder, right?
Yes, something like that. If possible, I'd like to even go bigger.
Bigger? How?
Proud pickpocket protects planet. Post-trial, perhaps.
Protects the planet?
Oh, well, I can't wait for tomorrow now. It's going to be so great. There's a sensational story lower down the front page as well, look. Ministry mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice.
For a 10-year-old, Iris certainly has her finger on the pulse of the world news.
It's about secret communications between Great Britain and its allies.
Oh, it's a secret communication.
Spies.
Apparently, they're being intercepted by hostile nations.
Communications are being intercepted? But how could somebody be doing that?
That's the question, isn't it? I've come up with 3 different possible methods so far.
Oh?
Are you looking for a new career, Runo?
No, I'm not. No, of course not. I'm a lawyer. I wonder, perhaps this is what Lord Strongheart was talking about yesterday?
Yes, it could be. And it could explain why he has Craigsy running from pillar to post at the moment.
The details of today's paper have been updated in the court record. Alright, I'm going to present this paper.
Okay.
Is there more than one paper now? No, there's only one. Alright, well, let's... How many, X's do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go with my gut, and we're gonna present today's paper.
Alright.
Take that!
Today's paper, Consul. The headline is Pawnbroker Perishes in Pickpocket Blunder. Hardly supportive of your case. No, my lord. I was hoping you'd look a little further down the page. Farther down? Ministry mole classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice. Yes, this is a very serious matter, being investigated at the highest level, I understand. I've heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted. and leaked to various other countries, it would seem. And presumably, those transmissions are in the form of wired telegrams? Of course. Juror number 5, your input, please.
Stop. Me, sir? Whatever is the matter? Stop.
You told the court before that you worked at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, did you not?
Yes, that's correct. Stop.
And the particular station where you worked deals with government communications and newspaper reports, correct?
Oh, yes. We're not your run-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important.
Oh. Then tell me, this is not a familiar sound, is it?
You don't mean to say, is it?
That's correct, madam. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap. I believe it's called Morse code.
Oh, but I don't believe it!
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams from government departments, there could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer. Are you suggesting that the music box disc contains stolen government secrets in Morse code? Yes. Oh, this is getting interesting. Order! Order, please! Everyone! Well, this is, how is this possible? This is high treason, counsel, deserving of capital punishment. Too much new vocabulary. What is treason and what is capital punishment? The sort of words I'd half expect you to know. Also, he just happens to be in the courtroom today. I think that disc is for him.
Could be.
For our sovereign government's confidential information, hostile nations would surely pay almost any price for this. Yes, and on that night 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus. But in the end, Mr. McGiddle perished, and the all-important disc lay unclaimed in the pawn shop. My word! In which case, whoever stole that information in the first place must surely have been besides themselves with worry. Because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way to the country, it would have revealed any act of high treason punishable by death. So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. And in order to do that, he would have to gain entry to the pawn shop illegally in the middle of the night.
Oh my gosh.
Because the article left behind by Mr. McGiddle would incriminate him too much if it got into the wrong hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon?
Oh!
You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous! Absolutely preposterous! So, in response to the defense's accusation, you claim complete innocence, do you? Well, of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer has been prattling away.
Objection!
Be quiet! Then by all means, counter the charges, sir. What? The prosecution demands the witness testifies. Respond to the accusations brought by the defense. Delighted, I'm sure. The witness is reminded that the crime under scrutiny in the trial is murder of the pawn shop owner, Mr. Winterbank. That would... Ouch!
Sorry.
Stop hitting my leg, please. That being a most flagrant offense for which the law of this land sanctions capital punishment. But the heinous act of high treason is no less a serious crime, which is also capital punishment. I urge you to bear in mind that you testify correctly, Mr. Graydon. I understand. So then, let us proceed. You may... Oh my gosh. You gotta let us have a rabbit and poking, Governor. We got something to say. I beg your pardon. What do you think you are? Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is professional body. My name's Ringo, but we ain't baddies enough to sell out our motherland. That's right. We're what you call...
Oh, here it comes.
the three Skulkin brothers! I will do no such thing. Bad timing, fellows. Very bad timing.
Why are they looking at him as if he's the third brother?
Is he?
I don't know. It's making me wonder.
Graydon's counter.
Is he their brother?
A mere communications officer couldn't possibly steal government secrets.
Really?
Besides, the sounds produced by that box aren't even Morse code. It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with McGiddle anyway, was it not? I've no relation to the man. Look, we all done is break into the gaff the other night like we told us to do. Hey, if we'd known we was doing dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have even touched it. Oh, they're patriots. Yeah!
Yes! For the motherland! Hail Britannia! Britannia rules the waves! Okay, I'm done.
Thank you. Very nice. You even got the words right. I'm impressed. Mr. Skulkins. Well, Mr. How do you, Governor? What's up? Do I take it that you now admit to the crime? That on the night in question you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally? And moreover, you did so as a party of three in collaboration with Mr. Graydon here? We did, Gov, we did! Uh-oh. Quiet down, please. What say you now, Mr. Graydon? I have no idea what these two ruffians are referring to. You little rotter getting us mixed up in all this monkey business. You never said nothing about no government secrets. It was supposed to be a straight-up job. And we won't about the geezer whose shop it is, eh? Poor old bloke didn't have to die, did he? Ah! Nice to know who your friends are.
Yep.
Whatever these men say, I deny the accusations. Indeed, so you do. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this little music box to become so significant in the proceedings. However, as it has, I will admit to the court record as evidence. The small music box has been added into the court record. Alright, well this is turning out to be a circus. Cross-examination time. Graydon's counter. A mere communications officer couldn't possibly steal the confidential government info.
Johnny?
So this newspaper headline is accurate then? Government communications are being intercepted. How could I possibly know? What do you mean by that? Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers by specialists. General members of the staff in the station where I work would have been entrusted with this sensitive information.
Oh no, stop! Must say something! Stop!
Let me guess. Juror number 5, what is it?
We regular communication station officers aren't as lowly as you are being led to believe. Stop!
Oh?
A team of us are responsible for setting up and testing the telegraphs used by the ministry. Stop. And Mr. Graydon is the team leader. Stop.
Oh, that's fascinating. Thank you, jury number 5.
He's leader of a very important team.
Oh, you're so busted! Graydon is a highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in the presence of idol. Stop.
So you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon. It doesn't look good for you, chap. Well, what of it? The transmissions are always made behind closed doors, so it can't be heard. In any case, all messages are sent encrypted. Normal employees couldn't easily understand them.
Oh no. Stop. Must say something. Stop. Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with ministry technicians and ministry communications team. Stop. He assists them in ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications. Stop.
As they say in my country, your goose is cooked.
As Ethan says, exposed!
And he's received the top prize at the Cipher Cracking Conventions 5 years in a row. Stop.
Dun dun dun. That's fascinating.
Oh, you're too good at your job, dude.
Graydon is a highly skilled operator. Stop! Currently in presence of idol. Stop!
Her eyes are sparkling.
Well, your idol would appreciate if you keep your mouth shut. Oh, she should really pick her idols more carefully. I tell you, the lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded. Okay. Nothing to report.
She idolizes him, but he's also a criminal.
Besides the sounds produced by that box...
Hold it!
Yes, they are.
They're not? To anyone with a brain, that would be blatantly apparent, listening to that music box for even a few seconds.
No. Wrong.
Of course! Of course! No, surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. He looks generally shocked at my ignorance. Ha 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 ha.
I would be more than happy to demonstrate the basics for you, sir. Stop.
A lesson here in court?
Morse code is a continuous series of 2 distinct notes. Stop.
Tones, you say?
Yes.
What's going on? What's happening? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just had some stuff come up.
Oh, okay.
Yes, a short... Oh, I didn't mean to hit your foot.
That's fine.
A short dot and a long dash. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters.
Oh, I see.
For example, this is an A. And there's a B.
It's raining outside again, honey.
When you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you can hear one tone, don't you, Ryunosuke?
But it sounds so familiar. The rhythm is the same and everything, isn't it? But there's no discernible meaning to this apparently random sequence of sounds. So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code. No! Really, you shouldn't be so surprised. What did I tell you? That music box is nothing but worthless piece of scrap.
No.
Perhaps you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspirations, Oh, stop! Nothing to say but stop.
Oh, is it frustrating, isn't it, Bruno?
Iris!
I mean, if the government secrets were somehow being leaked using that music box,
Oh, jeez.
so many other things would slot into place so nicely.
Could there still be something I haven't considered? Would it really be impossible to use this music box somehow to play back Morse code? I would say probably yes.
Give it a try.
Give it a try.
Thanks for the super chat. Nightwing Alex says there are rumors Scarlett Johansson might play Poison Ivy or Power Girl.
Who?
And she was contacted by DC, but I take it with a grain of salt.
Who was contacted?
There's rumors that Scarlett Johansson was.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, she's out of Marvel now, so I mean, she'd be great.
Either of those.
Either of those, she would be fantastic.
Why is it that I really want her to play Power Girl?
I would love her to play Power Girl. She went from playing a depowered, human character to playing one of the most powerful DC characters. That would be a great way.
It would be like if
Yeah.
she ran into that other girl. Oh my gosh, what is that other
Sasha?
girl's name? No, who is that other girl who played Captain Marvel?
Brie Larson?
Yeah, if she ran into Brie Larson, she'd be like, "Oh, I'm Captain Marvel," and then Scarlett Johansson would be like, "Yeah, I'm a Kryptonian. I could easily destroy you with one punch."
Yeah.
It's like,
That's
oh,
true. Yep. Okay, so what should we do, gang? It seems impossible, or give it a try?
what do you guys want to do?
I think it's give it a try, but
Thanks for the super chat, Nightwing Alex. You're breathtaking. Thanks so much. Hope you're having a great day, Nightwing Alex. Give it a try, says OH.
all right, we'll give it a try.
Let's give it a try. And I also say give it a try. I'm with OH.
All right.
And
There's-
Zelda says give it a try, Neon.
There's still every possibility that this music box was instrumental in leaking the government secrets. That's the belief of the defense, at least, Your Honor. Objection! I'm going to object. Does it please you in some way, my Nipponese friend, to repeat the same line of argument again? It's already been established that to be Morse code, 2 tones are required, dots and dashes. Yes, I'm well aware of that. Then what? Well then, it would appear the defense has a hypothesis to put forward. You would better present your idea at once, counsel. How do you propose this little box, which appears to produce only one single tone, could have been used to cipher secret messages in a Morse code?
I guess we should examine it.
Examine the box?
Well, I mean, we'll examine it. Right there, I guess. I mean, don't we just...
Wait, why is there a little button there? Oh!
What is it, Bruno?
I've just noticed something about this music box. It looks like the bottom of it opens up as well.
Oh, you're right, Bruno. Well, come to think of it, what are you waiting for? Let's open it.
Alright then, here goes. There's another compartment!
Oh, look at that. There's another movement on the underside.
So, does that mean you can set another disc to play back on this side?
Yes, I think so. And it looks like the 2 movements are linked together.
They're linked?
So if you had 2 discs, they would both play back at the same time.
Oh, you'd need 2 discs.
Got it!
Good gracious, what am I looking at here? Another movement on the other side of the music box? What? Oh no. It appears, my lord, that the 2 movements are linked together somehow. In other words, you can put 2 discs in this box, and sounds of both will play back at the same time. Good heavens! As the court has heard, Morse code comprises of 2 tones, a short dot and a long dash. With the second disc in place, the music box could be used to generate Morse code and convey a very important message. Whoa.
Ooh.
This is beyond a joke. I'm sorry, what was that? This poor excuse for a lawyer has absolutely no evidence to claim his support. Things. Stop speaking gibberish, though, of course. If my learned friend were able to present the court with the second disc, that would be another matter. Well, I can't at the moment. May I remind the court that, as the witness has pointed out, he was not on the omnibus with Mr. Megiddo 2 months ago, striking a deal over the discs or discs. Indeed, that was Mr. Mason the brickmaster, who was a spy. Exactly, I had nothing whatsoever to do with it. Though it has holes, I must admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. I believe the cross-examination should continue. The link between Graydon and the victim of the omnibus must be here somewhere, but I haven't found it yet.
Oh dear, it looks like you need to keep your argument more strict, Bruno. If only we had 2 discs.
You will now reiterate your testimony, if you please, Mr. Graydon. If I must, though, I maintain exactly what I did at the start of this pointless cross-examination. Dun dun. It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with Megiddo anyway, was it not? I have no relation to the man.
Hold it!
Hold it!
So 2 months ago in that omnibus, Mr. Megiddo killed the brickmaker and stole the disc? Mr. Mason was a single man with almost nothing to his name. It seems he lived in a some artisan quarter some years ago, but people there remember little about him. That doesn't make much sense though, does it? How does a humble brickmaker come to acquire secret government information? How indeed? There must have been somebody else involved behind the scenes in all of this. Somebody who acquired the disc and gave it to Mr. Mason. in order to take it to the meeting with McGiddle and negotiate a deal.
Like Graydon.
Dear me. You have it in for me, sir, but I assure you, I have far more class than that. An old brickmaker from an artisan quarter and his well-to-do communications officer. If only I find some evidence to link the two of them together.
Oh, thanks for the super chat, Nightwing Alex. Says, DCU, take all my money and belongings for Power Girl.
That would be amazing.
Thanks so much, Nightwing Alex.
It's just a rumor, though, Alex, but that would be amazing. If you have nothing more to add on that note, let us return to the witness testimony. Because basically Disney has dropped Scarlett Johansson after she sued them. So, I mean, it would be like a perfect revenge story, you know? Because Black Widow is not as popular as Power Girl. You know, Power Girl has a lot of history. She's a Kryptonian. She's one of the biggest DC superheroes. And Black Widow was just kind of like a C-lister.
And... never mind.
That'd be amazing. Look, all we done is break into the gaff the other night. Just like you told us to do.
Hopefully they make Power Girl a better suit than
No, it has
Supergirl
to be
has.
It has to be authentic Power Girl suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Mr. Graydon told you is what you mean, right? That's right, yes. Who else, eh? Silly me thought I was just popping over for a matter that all them years, but rotter did I dodgy do a job for something. Hey, Ash? His name is Ash?
Yep, Rick Ashley. Never gonna. Okay.
Let me stop you there, Mr. Skulkin. After all them years, you say? Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Graydon is an acquaintance of yours? We're sociable kind of baddies, you know. Sure, let's say Graydon's, in old China. What's going on, little guy?
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Mr. Other Skulkin? No, the other one. What? Oh, me? When your brother was testifying just now, he said something that seemed to cause you to react. Oh, I was just remembering the old days, that's all. We used to have right old laugh together way back when. Together? With Mr. Graydon, you mean? Yeah, with Ash, I mean. You look at him now, his fancy whistle and flute, and you wouldn't Adam and Eve it. But when we was younger, was for a poor part of town just like this. Is that so? But we've always a leery one. He had brains, he had savvy, always coming up with smart ideas like what would never have gone through our heads. Blimey, ain't that the trough? Remember Milton and Skulkin's milk run? He was a crocker, eh? Save it until after the trial. Your reminiscing has no place in this courtroom. No, it's establishing who he is.
Interesting.
And neither does your fruit. Oh, you geezer asked us a question, didn't he? And we was given an answer. Also, you be drinking wine and here what's wrong with a little fruit.
I know.
Yeah, we ain't done nothing wrong. Quiet!
Alright.
Nevertheless, the court is now not prepared to accompany you on your trip down memory lane. Counsel, can we turn our attention back to the testimony, please? I don't know. Could that sentimental story be relevant somehow?
Add it to the testimony.
I mean, we can try.
I don't know.
My lord. Yes, what is it, defense? The brother's last sentimental statement could hold vital information relating to this case. I don't see how, but very well. I will permit the brothers to supplement their testimony with that detail. Briefly, I hasten to add. Say no more! Okay. Milton and Skulkin's milk run, or were the days? Okay.
Milverton.
Milverton? Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to read it myself.
I'm sure I'm gonna regret asking, but what exactly was that? Some kind of business? Just a little scheme we had back when we was youngsters. A bit of fun, really. Right, delivering fresh milk to the locals, that's what it was all about. That sounds alarmingly legitimate. There must be a catch.
Maybe they were doing it legitimately.
I suppose since we're here, I should ask them to elaborate, but on what?
The business name.
The name? Okay.
Yeah, where does the name from?
So this business was just a bit of fun, you say? And if it was just yourselves and Mr. Graydon involved... Yeah, that's it! Okay. Milverton and Skulkin's Milk Run, was it? Yay, that's it.
I like how you made the short guy the lower voice.
And where did the Milverton part come from? Oh, right. I thought I'd deliver clogs like you worked... What?
Hold it.
Enough of this. How much longer are you expected to listen to this drivel?
Objection.
Let me guess. You don't accept anything these two witnesses are saying.
He doesn't want anyone to know his real name.
Tell me, why is it that... wow. Tell me, why is it that it was only the mention of the name Milverton that you decided to interject? Because I will, if it weren't the happiest of, what the? If it weren't the happiest of homes and, one came from... Yeah, his old man was struggling for money so much, his wife walked out on him. She took the name Graydon then, see? But Ash will always be Milverton to us. Ah, Milverton. So, that used to be your surname, did it? Of course not. This is all bunk, man. I've been Graydon since I was born. Do you really think you can rely on the testimony of these two thieves, You're a communications officer attached to the civil service. As such, your personal details will have been thoroughly checked at the time of your appointment. It would be very simple matter indeed to subpoena those records, Mr. Graydon. Ha! Well, it would appear that Mr. and Mr. Skulkin's testimony has been reliable, for once. You were born Ashley Milverton, then. Is that correct?
Tara says...
Very well, yes.
Look at Susie's notes whenever you have a chance.
So Ashley Graydon was once Ashley Milverton. So that information could change things, and could turn out to be extremely important. Ashley Graydon's personal profile has been updated.
Do you want to look at Susie's notes, or maybe later?
All of a sudden, we seem to be up to our necks in a serious matter of national security. It's kind of crazy. Although, all this talk about interception of secret government messages, still just conjecture at this stage.
It would explain a number of things, though, wouldn't it? The negotiation of Guinea overheard on the omnibus 2 months ago and the break-in at Winterbanks. But the trouble is, it wasn't Mr. Graydon in the omnibus with Mr. McGilded.
No, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker, who was who was horribly murdered. That's right.
If only there was some link between the two men somehow.
I know, but Mr. Graydon's testimony seems to be as watertight as ever. I wonder if the key to us making headway with the cross-examination is here or not. Could be those two brothers?
Maybe we should look at Susie's notes.
You want to look at Susie's notes?
Because Tara Ann said we should look at her notes when we have a chance.
Victim found deceased, last scheduled omnibus. Mason... Details of the victim. Mason Milverton, occupation brickmaker.
Was that his dad?
Wait. That was his father?
Or it could have been his brother. It's probably his dad. It's probably his dad because he's older.
He's related.
He has the same name.
So it was a case of revenge then? I don't know. Oh wait, no, he would have connection to the person selling the disc. His brother met with McGiddle after after Ashley gave the disc to the Mason. The Mason guy was a spy. talking to Mr. McGiddle, who was buying secrets that he was then going to distribute to other countries. Oh my gosh.
I can't understand. It's so complicated. It's Milverton. Now you have a link, says Fernando.
Now we do have
Dad
a
or
link.
older brother, says Droggle. Ooh,
Very
it's
interesting.
the storyboard writing.
It is very interesting.
It was his dad, says Tara Ann. Plot twist, says Ronan. Storyboard says, yeah. Wah, says Princess Emmy. Query says, what? Blue says, shut the door. Plot twist. Alright, dun dun dun, says Blue 75. Alright, guys, well...
Besides, the sounds produced by that box aren't even Morse code. It was some low-class brickmaker negotiating with... Ah! No! 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 Whoops, I messed up. I meant to hit the present. Sorry, we've already gone through all this.
Okay, we'll do... Oh yeah, we weren't supposed to do hold it, we were supposed to do present.
In order to give the meaning to Mr. Mr. McGriddle.
Good thing Susie took good notes.
You may have it for me, sir, but I assure you, I have far more class than that. An old brickmaker from an, artisan quarry, huh? So they said that this guy came from a poor neighborhood. We have nothing more to add, then let us return to the witness testimony, please. No, I have something to add. Go back to this one. We're going to present Susie's notes.
Objection.
Mr. Ashley Milverton. Tell me, why did you try to hide your former name from the court? Because I haven't gone by that name for years. It means nothing to me. No, I don't think that's the real explanation at all. The truth is, you had a reason to hide that name.
Uh-oh.
Explain yourself, please, Consul. I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. And we all know the victim's name... And we all know the victim, the man we now know, understood to have been negotiating with Mr. McGiddle. Yes, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker, what of it? That's right. Only Mason wasn't his surname at all. It was his given name. His full name was Mason Milverton. Milverton? Do you mean to say, saints alive? Mr. Ashley Milverton, is it not the case that the brickmaker, Mr. Mason Milverton, was your father? I don't... As I believe I mentioned earlier, your family history will have been thoroughly checked when you join the civil service. And it really would take no time at all for the court to subpoena those records. The truth is you have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information and selling it to McGiddle in collaboration with your father.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa. The new facts and evidence unveiled by the cross-examination of this witness all come together to reveal the truth. The truth, you say? That you collaborated with your father, Mr. Mason Milverton, in illegal dealings with Magnus McGiddle. By the dint of this music box, you mean, Consul? Yes. Stealing information being sent in secret government communications and selling it to Mr. McGiddle. Mr. Graydon concocted this elaborate scheme of using 2 music box discs to encode the information. As I presumably a safety measure against the information falling into the wrong hands. And a very effective one. I shouldn't have given the scheme even credence whatsoever. But the deal with Mr. McGiddle went sour, and the brickmaker met his end. Yes, but before he was arrested, McGiddle managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc at the pawnbroker. Then, having learnt of the situation, you appeared at Windibank's 2 days ago, in an attempt to recover the 2 articles McGiddle had placed in the pawn area. But that attempt failed. One of the discs was seized by the police, and the other you never found. So that same night, you enlisted the help of the Skulkin brothers and broke into the pawnbrokery. This time, determined to recover the second disc. Are you suggesting that the second disc was inside the music box? We never knew nothing about that.
Oh my god.
On the night that Mr. Windibank was killed. Now here we go with the crazy eyes again.
Whoa!
The intruder to the pawnbrokery touched one item and left one item alone, the music box.
Ooh.
Rather ingeniously demonstrated using the two prints from the security, indeed. So, the question that naturally begs answering is this, Your Honor. Why was only that one article disturbed? The answer is obvious, because it contained the second disc, which the intruder was desperate to retrieve. Since if it were to fall into the wrong hands of the police, it would be proof of high treason.
Oh.
Well, Mr. Graydon, do you deny that all this actually happened on that fateful night 2 months ago? Got him. I refuse to accept any of this nonsense! Oh, playing hard to get. This is ridiculous. Sir. There appears to be blood seeping through the sleeve of your jacket. What? Ah! 2 nights ago, we know that 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime in Windibank's pawn shop. One took the life of the pawnbroker himself, and the other struck the pouch around Mr. Sholmes' waist. And the final bullet struck the calendar on the wall of the shop, having first pierced the arm of one of the intruders. Mr. Graydon, that wound on your arm that you seem to be trying to hide, it's a bullet wound, isn't it?
Oh.
He's got you now, me old China. Time to call it quits, I reckon. Yeah, you're done. Don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstances whatsoever. Those were my terms, remember, and I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly, I was a fool to think I could trust some common back-slum thieves. Huh? Fine, I admit it. I was there in Windibanks that night. I paid this pair 10 guineas to accompany me. And as you've noticed, I sustained an injury in the course of my adventures.
Actually, they didn't tell on him.
But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets, negotiating with Mr. McGiddle. As God is my witness, I am sure I recall nothing of the sort. He's not going down without a fight, huh? Not until I can show hard evidence, I suppose.
Oh, we just did.
Nevertheless, the defense has now established a crucial fact. Which is... Well, we know that one bullet was fired from each of the 2 firearms we have in evidence. The bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun hit the pouch around Mr. Holmes' waist, causing an explosion. The bullet from Windibank's gun clearly must have been through the one that caught Mr. Graydon on the arm. Yes, indeed it must. We can rule out the possibility that the man shot himself. And that leads us to only one conclusion. Mr. Windibank was shot by a 3rd gun, which can only have been fired by the 3rd intruder. Goodness gracious! Duh!
Oh, wow.
That's right, Mr. Graydon. The only person who could possibly have shot Mr. Windibank that night is you!
Oh! Oh! It's a little short guy's on a box.
You little upstart. You made a grave mistake when you summoned me here. What? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, as you rightly say, I was there at the pawn shop that night. I did my best to hide the fact, naturally. I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I had built for myself at the communications station. But the thought crossed my mind. Did you never consider the possibility? What? What do you mean exactly? What thought? The possibility that if I was at the scene, I may have witnessed the crucial moment. You see... This makes me a key witness in this case, and I have my hands firmly around the neck of your client. What? Are you saying... What are you suggesting? I saw it all. I saw the very moment that pickpocket girl pointed the gun at the door and shot him.
Oh my god.
You what?
But he said he wasn't there.
Oh my gosh. This is a circus! Order! Order! Well, it would seem we are finally entering the last act of this theatrical trial. Mr. Graydon. Yes? I trust you fully aware of the implications here. If it is shown that your claim is false, you will have incriminated yourself as the killer. Ah. Oh, I understand fully. Then I must ask you to give your formal testimony once more. You will explain to the court precisely what you saw in the moment the defendant allegedly shot the victim.
Oh, wow.
Very well. Nothing would give me greater pleasure. Oh my gosh. Ah, the moment of the shooting. While these ruffians were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance of the shop. When Winterbank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. I could see through the peephole of the door, though. The accused in a black coat shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. I say the blood splattered all over the wretched girl. No, it didn't. Then she tossed the gun out of the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape. Uh-huh. Good gracious! This must be the truth. Extraordinary testimony.
What? Judge?
Your claim, sir, under oath, to have clearly seen the defendant pulling the trigger. Under oath, he doesn't care. Order! Order! It wasn't my intention to testify in this way. But neither is my intention to be found guilty of murder I didn't commit. So you see, my hand has been forced to tell the truth now as an act of self-preservation. But you still committed treason. You're going to die anyway.
Yep.
The truth, huh? Until now, the prosecution was completely unaware of these details. Yes, well, sorry about that. Having shot me in the arm, the pawnshop owner was then shot in the back by the accused. And, as I said, she was showered in his blood.
Oh.
You say the blood spattered all over the accused's coat. Are you sure on that point? Oh yes, quite sure. All over the black overcoat that pickpocket girl was wearing at the time. Really? If her coat could somehow be shown to harbor vestiges of blood, that would be conclusive evidence here. Let me drink to blood. Such an investigation is entirely possible, my lord. What? Only very recently a German scientist has developed a technique to identify human blood. So here's to true science, not some amateurish detective's dubious foray into the world of chemistry.
There's nothing dubious about Harley's work. His ideas are all sound.
Ideas are no use to us here in the scene. As in law, theories must be proven before they stand. In Germany, the technique has already been employed in the courtroom as a basis of evidence. Scotland Yard has a small quantity of the chemical reagent used, with your lordship's permission. We could scatter all vestiges of doubt within minutes.
Yeah, but the coat was found on Mr. McGilda's victim.
This doesn't look good, Bruno.
Why not?
Well, we know, don't we, that there's blood all over the front of Guinea's coat. If they test it with their chemicals,
Oh, help! You're right! I was forgetting what happened yesterday.
Don't move, Guinea. I'm going to shoot.
Yeah, but it's green blood. Purple blood.
Purple.
But that's not Mr. Winterbank's blood. The stain is from 2 months ago. That's Mr. Mason's blood from where he was stabbed by McGiddle, who was wearing the coat at the time. My lord, the defense objects to testify... My lord, the defense objects to tests proposed by the prosecution. I'm sorry, but it's overruled. Lord Van Zeeks, make it so at once. Yes. With pleasure, my lord. And while we wait the results, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Dang it.
Oh my god.
Once they find that blood on the overcoat, Gina will be... Counsel! Yes, my lord. Your cross-examination, please.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
This is gonna be so bad. Why can't we just have Guinea testify and say the blood was...
If this cross-examination doesn't go well, if I don't manage to uncover some decisive evidence or a rather compelling clue now, I have very bad feeling about the outcome of this trial. Whoopsies.
Yeah, you're right, Guinea is gonna be exposed. It's gonna seem like she's McGilda's accomplice. Yeah.
Yep, the moment of the shooting. While the other ruffians were jostling about... I don't care. Hold it! Mr. Winterbank emerged from the storeroom, I believe. Hi. Ringo and Nash were scouring the counter when they suddenly appeared and flew at them. He already had the revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close. I've never been so scared in all my life. Oh, yeah, we were just regular mild-mannered burglars, that's all. We don't like violence.
That's right, Princess Emmy. Guinea didn't do it.
Says the pair who carry a gun. Ahem. What do you mean when you say you weren't near the entrance to the shop? I was in the doorway running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items. Looking for the music box, of course. The broker went for Nash in the first place. Then Ringo joined in, making it 2 against 1. So I assumed they could handle the situation. But I was wrong. I was trying to help me little bruv, but the old geezer chucked me over the bloomin' counter. So I pulled my gun on the old fella, and soon made me him scrapper. The pair of you setting upon the poor defenseless pawnbroker together, shame on you, you thugs. Sorry, Gov.
Luke,
Yes.
Joggle said something really interesting in the chat.
Hang on, we have to press all this stuff though.
There's only 1 bullet in the guy's gun.
Whose gun?
The pawnbroker only had 1 bullet.
Yeah.
So, if what they're saying is correct, where he shot that guy in the arm when he was trying to shoot at him...
They won't have a means of matching the bullets, so that's still
Then
several years away.
If he shot the guy in the arm, then how could Guinea have taken his gun and then shot him, since he would have already used his only bullet?
They're saying they used his gun to shoot.
What?
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
I know. You mean that's the moment you were shot? Yes, I thought I didn't immediately realize what had happened, of course. Things crashed to the floor from the counter as the 3 men were brawling. It was exactly at that moment that it happened, so I didn't hear the gunshot. And the bullet went on and struck the calendar in the wall behind you. So it would appear. Then I looked at my arm. It was bleeding badly, so I wrapped my handkerchief around it. Seeing as though I couldn't explain what had happened to a doctor, I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. I didn't imagine it would still be bleeding 2 days later. Of course it does. It needs to be sewn up, you idiot.
No, why didn't he go to the doctor?
It is not a regular cut that is just going to heal over. It will take a long time, because it is an open wound. Did Mr. Winterbank intend to shoot you, do you think? Well, now, I don't imagine he even noticed I was there, to be honest. Perhaps the gun went off accidentally, anyway. I didn't quite strike home. When he pulled me gun on him, I tried to shove me out of the way. And then the scrapper threw the door out back. At which point, what did you do?
VG Shine says it was established already that each gun only shot 1 bullet.
Mm-hmm. You mean you chased after him? No, I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to be at the back of the shop. And what about this peephole in the door you mentioned? Well, unsurprisingly, the storeroom's door is a solid job made of stout wood.
Okay.
And there's a small opening in it, about the head height, that lets you see what's in the, there from the outside. Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? I looked through it myself that night.
Yeah, you're right. He did look through it.
And what about you burgling bros? Did you see what went on through the peephole as well? No, not likely. I didn't see nothing of the sort. I doubt these two buffoons were even aware of the peephole's existence. So, the Skulkin brothers were there, but they didn't see the killing of Mr. Windibank. Inside the storeroom, I could see the broker and young girls standing there. The defendant? Yes, though neither of them noticed what I was looking at. The girl raised her gun and pointed it straight at the man. And then, what did you see next? The accused in the black coat shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee. Yes, when the crime was discovered, the defendant was found with a gun in her possession. But that was Mr. Windibank's gun, from which only a single bullet had been fired.
That's right!
And, as we've already established, Mr. Graydon, that bullet was fired at you. But no, it wasn't the broker's gun that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. Yes, the bullet from Windibank's gun grazed my arm, and the Skulkin brothers grounded the detective. But this was another gun entirely. A third gun. The broker's gun was not the murder weapon, so clearly there had to be a third firearm involved. In other words, the accused must have had her own gun with her at the time.
Why would she have a gun?
But no other gun was found at the scene. Calm yourself, Consul. What? You must consider the events in order. What? After I first saw the broker and the girl glaring at each other, but then all of a sudden, the broker turned to run. And it was then at that moment that the little gutter rat shot him in the back. A chilling image, I must say.
No, that did not happen.
That didn't happen.
Kenny did not do that.
I saw the blood splatter all over the wretched girl.
Yeah, but she didn't have blood on her when they found her. Her shirt,
all over her?
Her shirt would have had blood on it.
Yes. Through the peephole I saw it clearly. Of course, the stains were invisible now. What with the coat being such a darker color.
What about her shirt?
But, I assure you, that garment is sullied with the victim's blood. Well, it's sullied with blood, that's for sure.
Oh, Droggle says the crime scene photo shoots that one down. Okay, thanks, Droggle.
But it's not one Mr. Windibank's blood, is it?
No, that's right. It's Mr. Mason's, Milverton's blood from when McGiddle stabbed him 2 months ago.
It's so annoying. If they only accepted Hurley's chemical analysis, we could prove that.
But they're not going to, so unfortunately we can't use it as evidence to support our case.
Bother.
Bother indeed. Then she tossed the gun out of the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape.
Why would you do
Then how did she hold the gun? Wait.
Yeah, then why was she holding another gun?
If she threw the gun out of the room, how was she holding the gun? Did I hear you correctly? She threw the gun out of the room? That's right. After the broker fell to the ground, she started walking over. Over where exactly? In the direction of the storeroom door, to where I was watching. Of course, I quickly retreated, and then the girl dropped the gun through the peephole into the floor on my side of the door. But why on earth would she do such a thing?
Exactly.
I couldn't tell you. Perhaps she was hoping to distance herself from the murder weapon. Without thinking, I went and picked it up. I suppose I was worried about just leaving it there in case any more tragedies took place.
That's a stupid thing to do.
So it was you, in fact, who took the third gun from the scene of the crime. Yes, it was yours truly. I left the clear-up to my lackeys and left. Clear-up? We made a bit of a mess around the counter, so me whistles and flute were told us to tidy up. A bloomin' mum sometimes. Well, I was paying you up enough, by goodness. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with a second disc in your jack pocket? You're like a bull at a gate, aren't you?
Oh my gosh, what in the world?
Gentlemen. I wonder if he is their brother, actually. Something wrong, sunshine?
Oh my gosh, the inspector brother with those two thugs?
Yeah, but he went the straight path and they stayed criminals.
It's possible.
The way that he interacts with them and the way that he looks similar to them but older, like he has gray hair and stuff like that.
And when they look at him like he's the third, when they do their dance, they look at him. It's like, dudes.
Yep, that should be my line, Inspector. You realize you were just violently shaking Mr. Skulkin. Blimey, this tea's a bit of an oddity. Of what was going on just now? You saw him. He grabbed me whistle. Why the blazes, he said, didn't you mention the third gun when we got you down to the station? And why didn't you? Oh, we didn't know nothing about it. Or that flaming peephole in the door. Sorry about that. I can be prone to losing my rag sometimes. Not hurt, are you? Blimey. You see, when looking at me, I'm telling you, his tea gives me the willies. That was strange. The inspector doesn't normally get quite as worked up as that. He wouldn't normally grab someone.
No, that wasn't like Gregsy at all. He's normally all sweetness and light, no matter what I say to him.
Yeah, well, I think you might be... this might be a special case, Iris.
Well, anyway, that was definitely out of character.
Something going on
Feels
with
like
Gregson.
he is the third brother.
My lord! Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt the cross-examination. Explain yourself, officer. I have results of the test that was ordered earlier, my lord. Ah, the blood on the accused's overcoat.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, officer. Very well, the cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, counsel? No, my lord.
VG Shine says keep the shake-up in mind. It will be important later.
Yep.
Alright, thanks, VG.
Well, there you have it. The report, please, Inspector. Yes, sir. Traces of human blood were found on the overcoat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were the result of spluttering following a gunshot wound. End of report. Good gracious me!
Simon says, don't these people need a bathroom break after all this time? LOL.
See? What did I tell you? Objection. No, the blood on the coat is not Mr. Windibank's. What on earth would make you say that, Consul? The coat originally belonged to Magnus McGiddle. Just before his coat was deposited at Windibank's, McGiddle had fatally stabbed Mr. Mason Milverton. So the blood on the overcoat is the blood of the brickmaster from the omnibus case. Objection! Well, the dead cannot speak. Isn't that right, my Nipponese friend? Sorry. 2 months ago in this very courtroom, did you not argue fervently for Mr. McGiddle's innocence? And yet now that the man is dead, you brand him as a murderer. You contradict shatters any shed of respect you may have earned for yourself in this country. Ha! But that was... I call it appalling disgrace. Treachery, that's what it was.
How to determine whether the blood on the coat is 2 months old or not? Even a stereoscope couldn't help the answer to that problem. Pop out! It can't be done! But... We use Mr. Sholmes' specially formulated...
Mr. Sholmes is a detective, not a chemist. Would you mind to put so much faith in a chemical formula devised by me, for example, when I'm a communications officer? Stop.
I held out to a starving boy, and he ran away crying. What?
Sherlock Sholmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in this courtroom. No weight at all.
Really?
How could you say that?
I'll be right back.
That's fine. Victory is sweet indeed.
This proves that my testimony is the whole truth from the start to finish. How do you arrive at such conclusions, sir? As with the witness said, the accused overcoat was splattered with the blood of the victim. The only way Mr. Graydon could possibly have known the fact is if he saw it happen. In other words, his testimony is solid and the conclusion is singular. It was the accused who shot the victim in this case. That is the whole truth.
No!
Oh no!
My lord! Oh gosh, I can't remember.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time battle this one, but this old warhorse has something to say now, please. Mr. Foreman, as of this moment, sir, the squadron has reached its final decision. Ready, men? All for one now.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
I love that guy.
Oh, I'm gonna have to do this again.
Moose and squirrel. Alright, well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached a unanimous verdict again. This goes on like a circus. The defense has failed to unpick this witness's testimony. Here's to an attempt you may make at unpicking the jurors' decisions being equally successful. Why?
Oh my god.
I don't believe it. After I've come so far.
We can't.
How is it all unraveling on me so fast? More flashbacks, probably. How very distressing to be held in such low esteem.
Oh, that's Sholmes. They said he wasn't worth anything.
Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Officer? You've delivered the report now. That will be all, thank you. It occurs to me with some... Oh my gosh. It occurs to me with some irregularity, Mr. Naruhodo. Scientific truths are determined not by science, but by none other than the human mind. No, that's not Sholmes, I don't think. I know that voice. Oh, you're right, it is him. I'm going mad. Ah!
Oh, there he is.
Mr. Sholmes! What? What is the meaning of this?
The fact that they didn't care about him.
Order! Order! What business do you have here, detective? Last heard you were recuperating in the hospital. As well I would be, had I not been set upon an errand. What errand?
Harley, it's really you. You're awake at last.
Yes, good day, Iris. I appear to be rather late to arise. My apologies. Now, my lord, if you will humor me.
In what manner, sir?
I have something of great importance I wish to give to the young lawyer over there. I need more than 5 minutes. Would you be so kind as to spare us some time?
What say you to this, Lord Van Zakes? This trial has taken many hours of the court's time, having spent so long already. Exactly, having spent long already, we don't want to go wasting any more precious time. As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would seem churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes. Ah! Very well then, Consul. You have 5 minutes.
5-minute break.
My dear fellow, I apologize for my tardy arrival. Mr. Holmes, you're all right now. All right? I'm all wrong. Sorry. I've only just managed to summon the strength to stand, man. I asked the judge for 5 minutes. But I fear that even that may prove much for me. Pray forgive me should I pass out.
Let's make this discussion as short as possible then.
Harry, this place is full of idiots. None of them can see how wonderful your chemical blood analysis is.
Ah, well, that concoction of mine was really just a bit of a sport to assist me in my investigations. Never took the trouble of refining it for appraisal by the scientific community, an oversight on my part.
Right, modesty surely not.
But enough of that. I'm here to give you this, my dear fellow.
What's that? A lavender wrapping?
Leaving a present from Miss Susie.
Miss Susie?
If possible, matters were to be settled without me giving you this. Those were her instructions when she asked me to do this favor for her. I don't understand. Miss Susie foresaw today's events, I believe. She knew that the culprit would attempt to escape justice by means both devious and underhanded, and that you, Mr. Naruhodo, fighting fairly as you are, would find yourself in considerable peril, and that very moment of crisis, you were to be given this small parcel. Those were the dear lady's instructions. Leaving a present from Susie? Whatever could it be?
It's the other disc. Oh, no.
What is this?
Oh, it's the machine that I made.
Huh?
The machine to make a cat door.
Meow.
Look, I used this. It's my latest invention.
What? What is that?
I call it the cat flipple mat. You can make a cat flap for a furry's little friend like Waggy in seconds. What's Susie up to then?
Miss Susie muttered the following words before she left. I'm a failure. I don't deserve to be a judicial assistant.
What? Didn't she say something like that? Why would she? You really are the best judicial assistant in the world, Susie.
Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure.
Whatever did she mean by that, Sholmes?
That night when you left Windibanks in pursuit of thieves, Miss Susie made us use this contraption for a certain purpose. That is your answer, dear fellow.
Not at all cryptic that... Oh!
I don't know.
There was no latch on the door! Her machine did it!
I'm so confused.
Her machine made the peephole. Wait, no, maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Maybe there was no people into that door.
Susie used this cat thing that night, but why? The cat thing has been entered into the court record.
Oh, there's no way he could have seen through the people because the people didn't exist.
Your 5 minutes is over.
So he said he saw her do all those things like shoot the person and everything when in reality there was no people, so there's no way he could have seen her shoot.
Ah, we're out of time already? Yeah, it's 5 minutes.
Graydon said he saw Gina shoot the guy through the peephole, but there was no peephole.
Yep. I am grateful to all of you affording this brief recess, Mr. Reaper.
I need no thanks, detective. After all, the die is cast.
Ah, is it really, though?
The jurors are unanimous in their leanings. No doubt my learned friend will consider a summation examination. But any attempt to alter the verdict now would be utterly futile.
Ah. I wonder. Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, Holmes. The rest is down to you, dear fellow. What is your plan? The rest is down to me, huh? I need to be careful here. If I make a wrong move, the trial will end badly. My lord, the defense requests... Another summation examination? I don't think so.
Oh,
Further cross-examination.
Yeah, cross-examine that guy again.
Further cross-examination.
Objection!
The jurors have spoken. Protocol dictates that you may not cross-examine a new witness now.
Objection!
The defense is not asking for cross-examination of new witnesses. Rather, to continue with one existing witness.
What?
Ah, it would appear that a rather important detail has escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper.
Yeah, OH says we can't do a third summation.
No.
But we can present this evidence. Thanks, OH.
Requesting your lordship's permission to interrupt.
Thank you, officer. Very well. Cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. I presume you have no objection, consul?
Nope. No, my lord.
So he interrupted the cross-examination.
So nobody can say anything then. If Bruno asks to resume his cross-examination of Mr. Graydon.
The court is obliged to allow it.
This is absurd! Oh, the stake through the heart of justice.
Yeah.
I would remind those present that this is my courtroom. I concur that the defense is entirely within its rights to request the continuation of the cross-examination of this weasel. However, I will not permit any unremitting protraction of those proceedings. Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity in concluding the cross-examination. Consul, you must choose but one statement from the witness's testimony.
Oh my gosh.
One piece of evidence in support of your argument against it.
One piece of evidence to present the support in your argument against it.
The single chance to present evidence?
If following that the situation remains unchanged, I shall move to give my verdict. Is that clear? You will not press the witness any further.
My lord. Yes, my lord, I understand. A single statement and a single piece of evidence, eh? Most generous. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it is high time I fell in a dead faint. I leave this in your capable hands. Oh!
Oh no.
Mr. Holmes! Mr. Holmes!
Oh, it says, I suggest you save before getting a game over.
I suggest we save as well, yes.
Peephole cat door machine, says Dr. Clue. Peephole and the cat door maker, says Droggle.
To stand so inscrutably before the court in state of such a high fever. Either the man was extraordinary strength of mind or completely lack of feeling. I imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers. Strike a man when he's down, why don't you? Well then, consul, are you truly prepared?
I don't know if we're prepared. Luke, did you save?
I can save soon. Yes. One statement, one piece of evidence. I won't let Mr. Holmes down, or Iris. Ouch! And I won't waste this final chance that Susie has given me. This is going to decide the entire outcome of the trial.
Whoa.
Very well then. Under the terms I've outlined, you may resume the cross-examination. Save.
Yep, Nana Kamino says save. Thanks, guys.
Oh, I have no idea how I'm gonna do Ace Attorney tomorrow. This is really
It's taxing in my throat.
Wait, this is gonna go on tomorrow?
Well, I mean, the next game.
Oh, the next game.
The next game. This is the end of the first game, yeah.
Wait, you think we're gonna finish it today?
Yeah. We're in the last stretch of it, honey. Cross-examination again. The moment of shooting again.
Yeah, Casey says his dad was diagnosed with the zombie apocalypse. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
I told him we'll be praying for your dad, Casey.
Ooh.
We'll be keeping him in our thoughts and prayers, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. While these ruffians were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance of the shop. I don't care about that. When Windenbank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. I could see him through the peephole in the door. No, you couldn't! There was no peephole. There we go. This has to be it.
Okay.
Objection.
What on earth is that contraption?
Oh, it's my cat flopper-mat, my lord. It makes way for cats to get in and out of a room. It can cut through any door you can think of to make a new little door in the middle of it.
That's right, my lord. It's a device for creating so-called cat flaps. So, small doors for cats to come and go as they please without their owners. I'm sure we can all work out all of that ourselves, thank you. But that cat lover's contraption has no possible relevance to this case. Oh, really? Of course it doesn't. To start with, there are no cat flaps in the pawnbroker's door.
Not being a keeper of cats myself, I'm afraid I fail to see what this has to do with the matter at hand. I'm more of a dog person.
Perhaps it would help if I described its function another way, then. This contraption is able to create a peephole in the door you can imagine in a particular... in any door you can imagine in no time at all.
I beg your pardon? A peephole, you say?
2 nights ago, we arrived at the scene only moments after the murder of Mr. Windenbank had taken place.
That's right, according to the paperwork at the yard, it was you, the Japanese assistant in shows.
Yes, the 3 of us were together, and it's recently come to my attention that my assistant made use of this device at the time.
Your assistant did what?
There was a peephole in the storeroom door, I can attest to that. Because I looked through the peephole myself in order to see inside the locked storeroom.
This is ludicrous. What are you trying to say?
Of course there was a peephole in the door. I said so much in my testimony. How else could I have witnessed the crime, for pity's sake?
How else could you have witnessed
How else
it?
indeed? Yes, how could you?
What? Consul, kindly say what you mean, please.
All right, it's time. Time to strike the final blow. What I mean is this, my lord. My assistant made the peephole in the storeroom door, and until such a time as she did, the door had no hole to look through.
What? No!
Take that, Graydon.
This is a farce. Are you generally suggesting that the peephole in the door was...
Yes, it was created only after the incident had taken place by my judicial assistant using this device.
Your assistant tampered with the crime scene whilst being fully aware of the gravity of her actions? That is a most serious act of vandalism.
For which I humbly apologize, my lord. It was in a few minutes that I left the scene in order to pursue the Skulkin brothers and alert the police. Nevertheless, in light of this new information, it becomes apparent that Mr. Graydon's testimony is riddled with holes.
Oh my gosh.
Riddled with... Explain yourself, defense.
The majority of Mr. Graydon's testimony appears to incriminate the defendant. Is based upon what he witnessed through the peephole in the storeroom door. And yes, that filthy girl shooting the man in the back. However, if at the time of the incident that the peephole did not yet exist in the door, there's no possible way that you could have seen what you claim to have seen. In short, Your entire testimony is a pack of lies!
Oh my gosh.
Order! Is this any credence to this revelation? Objection. None whatsoever, as my learned friend must surely realize.
Exactly! This is just some cheap trick designed to discredit me. I'm afraid not, sir. Of course it is. Do you seriously expect people to believe that, plaything can cut through a solid wooden door?
Oh yes, I designed it to be very powerful. It can cut through even the toughest of doors.
That's absurd. I don't believe it for a second.
Aha! I had a feeling that you would say that.
What?
Waggy, cooey, time for dinner.
Wait, when did she do that?
She just did that recently.
Well,
Huh? Young lady, this is the Old Bailey. One does not simply make cat flaps in the oak paneling of the Old Bailey.
I'm not done yet, don't worry. This doesn't mean that the peephole in the storeroom at Winterbank was made by your machine. And there's no way you can prove that it was.
no, but it's easy.
What?
The cut flaps my cut flap creates are all of a fixed size. All the dimensions of the peoples at Winterbank's an exact match.
Oh,
Haha! The old Suki's lost for words.
excellent work, Iris. Thank you.
And now it is my learned student's turn to be lost for words, I feel.
Huh?
I believe your judicial assistant has already left the country for your Eastern Island home, yes?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Then you may have some difficulty in establishing all of the facts. For the sake of argument, let us assume the peephole has dimensions that are perfect fit for this contraption. In that case, when was the peephole cut? The prosecution demands proof of your answer. Ah! What is the purpose of your line of inquiry, Lord Van Zeeks? Very simple, Lord. The defense argues that the peephole was created after the incident using this device. But now that the perpetrator has returned to her native land, she cannot testify to the fact. There is no proof.
True.
And for as long as the defense remains unable to prove when the peephole was made, my learned friend's claim amounts to nothing more than a baseless accusation.
Whoa.
Nani? Indeed it is, as Lord Van Zeek said. Well, defense,
Don't give up now, Bruno. This is the time to create your own opening and force your way through.
I don't know if I can do this, but I know one thing. Susie is the greatest judicial assistant in the world. And one day she'll be my wife.
Very well, counsel, for the defense will present evidence to support this claim. Proof that the peephole in the door of Winterbank's storeroom was created after the event, not before.
Do we have any pictures? I'm not seeing anything.
There's no.
And after.
Yeah,
There it
nothing
is.
There. Oh wait, it was created between 1 and 1:30 a.m.
Yep.
Take that!
What are you? A print from the detective's infernal cameras again.
My judicial assistant, Miss Susie, is an extremely intelligent and capable woman, which is why I never had any cause to doubt that she would have considered the scenario and made sure I had necessary proof.
And the necessary proof is this photograph, counsel?
Uh-huh. This print shows a scene in the shop moments after the defendant entered the premises.
Agreed. And it also shows the accused mercilessly wielding a gun in the direction of the defenseless broker.
But, more to the point, it pictures the storeroom door in the background.
Let me see that print again. I don't believe it! This really is quite remarkable. The door to the storeroom is completely devoid of a peephole of any description. Ah!
Oh, dun dun dun!
Mr. Graydon, you couldn't possibly have witnessed the crime as you claim to have done, because at the time it happened, there was no peephole in that door. Ugh. In other words, your testimony is a catalog of lies!
Whoa.
Oh, oh, oh.
Oh my gosh.
Got him.
Hold on. I'm satisfied that the defense has sustained its claim beyond all reasonable doubt. The witness testimony was entirely false.
Wow.
That's not the only thing we know now beyond all reasonable doubt. My learned friend's assistant's guilt can no longer be denied. The woman tampered with the crime scene. But more importantly... Good Lord, there's more Lord Van Zeeks? Yes, the defense may have established a reprehensible instance of perjury. But that is no proof that this man is the victim's killer.
Yes, that's right. What? I was there at the scene, it's true. And I was shot in the arm, it's true, but that's all. Yes, in fact, if you look at the circumstances, I am the victim here. Oh, please, no! This is getting annoying.
This guy is just too hard to take down. He's just one
I
of
don't
those
believe this!
people that will never...
But they're right, as it stands now. I don't have any definitive proof that he is the culprit. Oh.
Still, he can't worm his way out of it now.
Iris?
You know what they say? There's no point in locking the cat's door after the cat has bolted. Isn't that right, Bruno?
Huh?
As Harley always says, one lie begets another. No, wait, that might have been a line I wrote for him in one of my stories.
Well, no matter who said it first, you're right. I'm gonna need some tea after this. Mr. Graydon, not only did you guys give a false testimony to the court, but the lies you told make no sense. Make no sense? What do you mean by such a remark? What you said in your testimony just now reveals that you know something you shouldn't have known. In other words, there is a fundamental inconsistency in your statements. What?
Objection!
Too many characters going
my
back and
gosh.
forth. This is provocative talk, counsel. Won't you enlighten the court? Explain this alleged inconsistency.
Iris was right. One lie begets another. The inconsistency is revealed by the lies in the witness statements. They know that Mr. Graydon had knowledge of something he shouldn't have. Something, namely, about the peephole.
Also, the bloodstains on the coat. He knew there was blood on the
The
coat.
point is not that you lied in your testimony, Mr. Graydon. It's the nature of the lie you concocted that is so revealing. You're not making any sense, boy. Then let me ask you a simple question. How is it, Mr. Graydon?
Sorry, I'm just breathing. Sorry.
I hope so. That you know of the existence of the peephole in the storeroom door? What? Well, obviously,
Oh! Has the cat got your tongue, witness?
The peephole in the door was made after the incident occurred, and once I returned to the shop having failed to catch the two burglars, Scotland Yard's investigation immediately arrived afterwards. Since that time, the police have been Windibanks constantly carrying out their investigation. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Oh, well, yes, of course. The place is chock full of pawned articles, and my lads have to thoroughly examine it all.
So I gave them the officers to work around the clock in shifts, so we get it all done. And consequently, there's no way that Mr. Graydon could have gained access to the shop.
Yep.
Therefore, you should have known nothing about the peephole in the storeroom door. So the fact that it exists forms the basis of your testimonies completely inexplicable?
Objection!
Oh, excuse me. And yet, the fact remains that Mr. Graydon did maintain that the witness the crime take place through the peephole in the door. Whew. How on earth is this possible? I'm getting a little winded.
Oh my gosh.
Could I have a word, please, Lord Van Zeeks? Speak, Inspector. It's just that I really ought to be getting back to the station now to make my report. There's really nothing more I can add to this testimony, so it's all the same to you. Permission denied. Oh. It's not at all the same to me, Inspector. Not at all. You will remain exactly where you are until this trial concludes.
Yeah, were you feeding that guy
Of course,
information?
sir. Mr. Graydon? You shouldn't have known about the existence of that peephole.
How did you know?
Which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by somebody else. Ah!
Objection!
Stop there, my learned friend. You realize, I trust, that the words you just uttered have extremely serious implications. Yes, but the defense believes that the details about the case that Mr. Graydon claims to have seen must have been revealed to him by a certain person before his testimony. And in fact, considering a particular clue we have, there's really only one person that could be.
Mr. Gregson.
Who's the person in question, Consul? Who gave the witness details of the crime scene to facilitate his false testimony?
Mr.
Gregson.
Take that!
The truth is, it can only have been you, Inspector Gregson. Me?
Objection!
Objection. You had better have some proof to substantiate such a rash claim, my learned friend. Consider the fact that we have only been aware of Mr. Ashley Graydon's identity for the last few hours. We learnt it of only during the course of the trial today. Yes, indeed we did. Preparations for his testimony were made with a great urgency during our hour-long recess, while the police executed the subpoena and brought the man here from the communication station. And until that time, Mr. Graydon would have no idea. No inkling that he would suddenly be required to appear in court. Are you suggesting that it was until such a time as he was summoned? Yes, my lord. Until then, it's reasonable to assume he knew nothing of the peephole. It was only once Mr. Graydon was in the stand that he realized his position. That he would have to defend himself against the accusation that he was the third intruder. You're suggesting that that it was while this trial was in progress that he received the information, so that he could perjury in order to save his skin. Exactly. And the only person with knowledge of the investigation that he had any contact with is you, Inspector Gregson.
Whoa.
This is a blooming outrage. Why, I would be giving away details of our investigation to this fellow, eh? I was summoned to his lordship's chamber during the recess in any case. Had you forgotten that?
Yeah, but you were discussing something with him before.
Yes, quite true. I had a number of questions regarding the events that transpired at the pawn shop.
You okay?
I'm gonna lose my voice during this.
I'm sorry.
Which means the first time these two laid eyes on each other was after the court resumed. Since then, there have been in full view in the stand where such illicit discussions couldn't possibly have occurred. Ah! Case is going on too blasted long.
Oh, I've just remembered something, Bruno.
What is it?
I have another hour of dialogue.
Don't joke.
There was one time before, wasn't there? I think it was when Guinea was testifying.
Oh yeah, now that you mention it, when the bailiff was dispatched to retrieve Mr. McGittle's box from the scene of the crime. That's it! It was during then! Oh, jeez. I remember finding it strange at the time.
Is your tummy okay?
Because I'm talking so much, I'm having all this air go down and it's making stuff come up.
Oh, wow.
And I'm very dizzy. Mr. Graydon and the inspector seem to be having some kind of secret discussion.
Do you want something to drink?
I need some tea heated up, yeah. If this case goes like another hour, I'm done. Remember, I have that esophagus, like, ailment, so... This is really putting a lot of pressure on my voice box. It would not have been possible for you to give Mr. Graydon the information he needed.
You little toe rag, you're making all this up. I'm a respectable Scotland Yard inspector, for crying out loud. Why would I do something like that, eh? Why would I be giving away confidential details to the likes of this bloke?
Admittedly, you wouldn't have had any reason to do something like that for no gain. But perhaps it would be part of a deal of some kind that starts to make more sense.
What deal, Counsel?
I wonder if perhaps in exchange for details about the people at the crime scene, Mr. Graydon agreed to give a certain something to the inspector.
What? Oh. I'm sure I need not remind the inspector that if found to be true, striking a deal of any kind with a witness be considered a gross case of malpractice or whatever.
Objection!
It is becoming clear now that jumping in with accusations is this Japanese student's specialty.
I don't do that.
But with the stakes so high, the prosecution is not prepared to listen to baseless charges. It is incumbent on the defense now to present evidence in the court of this diabolical claim.
Honey, make sure there's honey in there. Evidence?
Just what are you proposing that the inspector demanded of the witness in return? The court must see proof of this alleged deal.
If Inspector Gregson really did strike a deal with Mr. Graydon, then logically there's only one thing he could have asked for. That must be it!
Ryuno, do you think it could be?
Yes. It's the missing link that would join all dots together in this puzzle. The music box!
I must press you for an answer now, Consul. What evidence explains the nature of the alleged deal with the inspector?
Actually, it'd be the music box disc.
Take that!
Inspector Gregson, besides this murder, is it not true that you've been working on another very important case?
What are you getting at now, Sunshine?
Is it possible that this other top-secret case is what alludes to in this newspaper article here? The classified secrets being leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice?
How? Could that bleeding Nora, could you...
We discovered during the course of this trial the music box deposited at Windibanks by Magnus McGittle. A special music box designed to play 2 discs at once. It would seem very likely now that encoded on the pair of discs that were in Mr. McGittle's possession are the leaked classified secrets. So I put it to you this, Inspector, that in order to recover the second of the discs containing those secrets, you covertly made a deal with Mr. Graydon in which you exchanged the disc for details of this case.
You little... I'm not saying order 3 times.
On the day of the incident, when we met at Windibanks, you said this.
I'll be taking whatever, Mr. McGittle's down to the yard. Thank you very much. So hand it over.
No, I don't want to give it up. It's mine.
I'm sorry, miss, but anything belonging to McGittle has to be taken in as evidence now.
the Scotland Yard already knew at the time, isn't that correct? That Magnus McGiddle was involved in the stealing of government secrets.
My orders were recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry, and do it on the QT, strictly hush-hush.
And that explains why, when I presented this disc as evidence to the court, you objected so heavily, I presume. Because you knew it contained highly confidential information.
Yeah, guys, no way there's a stream happening at 7. I'm gonna need to rest my voice. Just, keep that in mind, please.
Blimey, not likely. I mean, I wasn't sure of that myself. I realized there was a possibility, that is all.
Inspector, surely you're not saying that in order to acquire the second of these music discs that you indeed reveal confidential details of the crime scene to the witness? To aid and abet this man in giving false testimony?
There's no other way that Mr. Graydon could have known for the existence of the peephole. It's the only explanation. A deal was struck between these two men.
No, Gah!
Goki did a super chat, says we can wait, Luke. Don't go any further.
It's almost over.
It's almost over, guys.
Even if I stress, this sobering assertion turns out to be found in truth.
I got you some tea.
It would mean that the second disc is as we speak here in this very courtroom.
Wait, what? In this courtroom? How could possibly you make a claim like that?
Because Inspector Gregson is a Scotland Yard detective.
What?
What's that supposed to mean, eh?
As a seasoned policeman, the inspector will have approached this alleged deal with caution. Certainly he would not have accepted gentleman's agreement in this matter. No, he would have insisted on having the article agreed upon in the palm of his hand.
Good gracious, then you mean to say... Inspector already has the item in question in his possession? He has the second disc actually on his person?
Yes.
The defense demands the inspector is searched at once.
Definitely! They could only have struck a deal with each other when Guinea was testifying before. And Gregsy hasn't moved from the witness stand since.
My lord, please, order an examination of this person's effects immediately.
Well, Inspector.
He gave it to the burglar next to him, I bet.
This young lad wants me to tone down his imagination. He's insulted me and my profession quite enough.
Huh?
However, if it'll put this matter to bed, dispel any doubts about my involvement, then I happily submit to a body search.
What? What's going on? Why do you agree to it?
I presume you're aware of the piece on which you'll now tethered, my learned friend. You've made a most serious allegation against Scotland Yard. If, following the search of the inspector's personal effects, no disc is found, you will be deemed unfit for court service. This trial will end, and my country's government will formally demand yours that you are severely reprimanded.
Wow.
That sounds serious.
Seems weird.
Indeed, to have visiting student make such a defamatory remarks about our country's most senior police force is not something Her Majesty's government will be able to overlook.
I'm just sitting here, Luke.
It's Iris.
Oh.
You're just threatening Runa because you're scared.
Luke, I got your tea right there.
I know, it's still too hot.
The accusation is beyond serious. You must be prepared for grave consequences.
It's true. I can't imagine Gregson would have accepted a gentleman's agreement for something so critical. The disc must have physically changed hands, which means the inspector should have it. But somehow, something doesn't feel quite right here.
Very well, Consul. You know the implications, so let me ask you one final time.
Yes, my lord.
You still persist in formally requesting the search of the inspector's personal effects?
Search someone else.
Yeah.
Yes, the defense formally demands the search be conducted.
Well, don't say you weren't warned, young man.
But your typical Japanese stubbornness may well land you in hot water this time. Perhaps the lesson will do you some good next time. Fair enough. I've got nothing to hide. Very well then. Bailiff, conduct a search of the inspector's...
Objection! The defense demands a search, but not of the inspector.
What? Now what's all this? I'm the one you're accusing, aren't I? I thought you wanted to search me.
No. No, Inspector, not you. Somebody else.
What's the meaning of this, eh? Lost it at last, have you, sunshine? The court shouldn't have to put up with this nonsense. You're being completely irrational.
Who said that?
Ooh.
Oh, sir.
Bruno's doing all what you told him to do and having the courage of his convictions. So you should respect that and listen to what he has to say in good faith, because that's the British way.
Well said, young lady. Indeed, this court is in awe of the defense's counsel's conviction and eagerly awaits his next words. You what? Now, don't be hasty, my lord.
If I'm not mistaken about the things I've seen in court today, I'm fairly certain I know who has the disc at the moment. There's only one person it can be.
Chad is saying green, guy in green, the other brother.
Yep, the council demands this guy.
Take that!
My lord, Mr. Nash Skulkin.
Well, I never!
What, me? Me? You!
Very well then, bailiff. Restrain the witness and conduct a thorough search of his personal effects.
Hold it!
Please, me lord. Inspector.
Jeez.
Scotland Yard has to object to this search.
Objection!
Unfortunately for you, Inspector, your objections carry no weight here. Ah! In this courtroom, only the prosecution and defense have the authority to object. But Lord Van Steeks! I have no idea what forces are played that might influence your actions. But, personally, I have no intention of obstructing the course of this trial. Ah! Bailiff! Carry out the search!
No, hold on a moment. I don't know nothing. Nothing about no disc. Cut it out!
Maybe the inspector put it on him.
Here, my lord, in the witness pocket. I found this. Good lord, that's another music box disc.
I don't know nothing about it, nothing.
Uh-oh.
That is the second music disc I left behind by the, jeez. That's the second disc that McGiddle left behind. Is it not, Inspector Gregson?
Ah!
Well, there are 2 discs. Now we can play them together and that lady can interpret the Morse code.
Mr. Skulkin, I'll have order in this court. What have you to say for yourself?
Gordon Bennett, just Gordon Flamin' Bennett. I swear I didn't know nothing about that disc. Honest to God.
Consul, would you please explain what exactly is going on here? The alleged deal that was struck between these 2 witnesses? And this detective, no?
Without a question, my lord.
Then for pity's sake, why on earth was this man in possession of the disc that the inspector traded for information?
Inspector Gregson is a shrewd and calculating man who relies on his composure. But at one particular point in this trial, he exhibited some unusual behavior for a brief moment.
I don't recall what unusual behavior.
He was shaking somebody. It was, yes, during my cross-examination of Mr. Graydon. Tell me, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your pocket?
I admit to nothing.
Yep, he was shaking him. There it is. While Mr. Graydon answered my questions, the inspector appeared to have grabbed Nash and was shaking him violently.
You do, Nash.
Yeah, he did it all. Thought me noggin was gonna fall clean off, I did. I was wishing I'd be born as me brother I was.
Yeah, it's too hot. And what exactly happened to make the detective attack you like that?
Oh, I ain't got a clue. He just suddenly turned and grabbed me, whistle-like, that I started shaking me. Why the blazes did you mention the third gun when we got down to the station? That's what he said. Yelled it right down my ear hole, he did. Me head's still throbbing now.
The way the detective behaved was extremely out of character. But looking back now, it must have been that he did it to switch the discs. That was the opportunity he had in order to hide the disc.
Well, bless my wig, he hit it! You! But I'm afraid I failed to comprehend the motive here. If the detective had acquired the disc he was after, why on earth would he then proceed to hide it in another man's pocket? This is court of law. He could have submitted the item as evidence.
It would appear, my lord, that the inspector was not at liberty was not able to do that.
Why ever not?
As the man himself revealed earlier, this current assignment has some special conditions.
My orders were, recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry, and do it on the QT. Hush hush.
Hush hush, a top secret assignment, was it? As far as we are aware, the information stolen comes from confidential government communications. It would seem that if the information were to be revealed in court as evidence, it would be problematic. Does that sum up the situation, Inspector?
I'm operating under orders from the ministry. I'm afraid that I am not at liberty to answer that question.
So, realizing there was a chance that you may be searched here in court, you took steps to hide the disc you had acquired from the witness.
Does this mean?
He only pretended to attack Mr. Skulkin in order to get close to him, to slip the second disc in his pocket.
So it was all a pretense. Well then, Inspector, and you, Mr. Graydon, are you prepared to admit the accusation made against you in this alleged deal?
I admit to it. Yours truly, please. Mr. Graydon? Clearly our eastern visitor has an uncommonly active imagination. However, there's no proof that I passed the disc to the inspector.
Objection.
Oh my gosh. But, how do you explain the reason why you knew about the peephole? I'm under no obligation to explain. What? Yes, I lied in my testimony, that I admit. So sentence me accordingly. But that is all I admit. Murder, leaking government secrets, striking a deal with the detective. All of that is a young Easterman's fancy. I have no idea about any of this. You! Nani?
I feel like this is gonna go on forever.
Well, what about you then, Inspector? Do you admit to making a deal with Mr. Graydon in order to acquire the disc?
Ladies and gents of the jury, as Scotland Yard Inspector, I will declare this and nothing more. I am acting in the best interest of the country. Whatever I've done in the name of justice. So, as members of the public of this fine country, I'd like to think that justice will be your guiding light when you're making your decisions.
Eh?
That is quite a quandary indeed. Rarely have I encountered such extraordinary things concurring in my court. Nevertheless, in absence of any further evidence to be presented, I believe it is time that we put the matter to the jury for the final leanings.
Well now, as a fellow servant of the Queen and country, I must say I sympathize with the old inspector.
Yes, he's a dependable man. I'm quite sure in service one becomes good judge of character. Oh, you want me to do it?
Even crossing your eyes doesn't help when it comes to look at this case. It's blurred to me.
Well, as a fellow professional, I'd like to put my faith in the detective, really.
Graydon is a highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in possession of idol. Stop.
Detective has very much trust in eyes, more than I cannot say.
I don't believe it. The 6 jurors are. They're gonna believe Gregson? If they declare their decision now...
Is Kenny going to be found guilty? Oh no.
If I don't manage to produce some definitive evidence right now, then we're going to lose! Either some proof that Graydon killed Mr. Windibank or stole government secrets. Or some evidence to force Gregson into admitting that he struck a deal with a witness.
Very well, counsel. I think it's time I imposed on the judges to declare their final decisions, no? That is, unless you have some compelling evidence you have thus far not presented to the court.
If I let the judge call on jurors to announce their leanings, Gina will be found guilty.
So, there's no choice then, Reno. You have to throw some more evidence at them. Why not?
This is it. It all comes down to this.
Save?
Who do I present evidence against, Gregson or Graydon?
Should we save?
Yeah, we'll save. Save.
Play the music disc together, says Cheyenne.
Inspector Gregson. Inspector Gregson, there is one final piece of evidence I would like you to see.
What is that then?
If you refuse to acknowledge that you did in fact strike a deal with the witness here today, then you leave us no choice but to examine this piece of evidence thoroughly.
Well, go on.
This is my last chance. It looks like I'm gonna have to force his hand here.
He's gonna have to stop it in the middle.
One
of it.
final piece of evidence to get this detective to admit the deal he clearly struck with Graydon. I have no idea.
The music box. Like, playing both discs at the same time.
I don't know how to do that. I guess I should try to save again. Well, I mean, I did save before I said Mr. Graydon. Well, let's try the music box.
Take that!
Is that Mr. McGittle's peculiar music box?
Yes, with a disc already in place, already ready to play. I think perhaps now would be a good time to listen to the sound produced by the music box again. Only this time... with 2 discs!
Goodness gracious, this disc as well?
Oh my gosh.
No, wait! I can't let you do that.
Why not?
Because, because it's got nothing to do with this case. That's why.
Objection!
Not true, Inspector. The defense has already proposed that the sounds heard by the court earlier from this music box were part of Morse code message. We know that the Morse code comprises of 2 different tones. The defense believes that the second disc contains the second tone to complete the message. Now we have a chance to confirm this theory.
Well, crying out loud, Sunshine, we're talking about state secrets here. If you go on letting the whole courtroom hear the confidential information, it's like treason.
Then do you admit the charge? That in order to protect those state secrets, you engaged in unwillful dealings with the witness?
You're mad! If you let the secret information out into the public domain, you'll be making an enemy of the entire British government, you idiot!
Objection!
Let's not forget, Inspector, that you, a Scotland Yard officer, leaked confidential case details to a witness. That you continue to lie to court, and all because by fair means of foul, you're determined to do your duty. Well, by fair means of foul, I'm prepared to do mine.
Don't you dare!
I will stop at nothing to protect my client. Don't care who I have to make an enemy of.
My lord, if you please. The court must hear the sounds made by that music box. Come on, Zeeks, for Pete's sake, stop him!
Objection!
Inspector, you should know my methods by now. I am a prosecutor. I am no Scotland Yard puppet. Ah! In this courtroom, my duty is to the law, so let me propose a toast to uncovering the truth by fair means or foul. No! Very well, the defense's stance here is that of the prosecution has been made very clear, I feel. Therefore, in accordance with the defense's request,
We'll play the music box.
the court will now listen as the government secrets are played in this courtroom with the Russian spy in our midst.
I want to hear them.
The time has come for the second disc to be played at the same time as the first.
Awesome. Thanks for the super chat, VG Shine says One Piece Annie's lobby arc vibes from this scene. Oh, awesome.
It's unmistakable now. It's Morse code! Alright, I admit it! By Jove, stop playing the box! Ah, the network of spies.
Thanks so much for the super chat, VG Shine. You're breathtaking. Thank you so much.
And I need a spot of tea, guys, so just a few minutes, please. Oh, ouch, that hurts. Also, I need to delay the other stream.
All right. So we're just waiting for Luke to delay the other stream and drink a sip of tea, I guess.
I knew Ace Attorney was probably going to give me bronchitis. Oh my gosh.
I mean, you could have saved like the last 40 minutes for the end.
No, because the case is, it's almost over. May as well finish it.
Fanxian says, you're doing great.
Let me ask you again, Inspector. Did you or did you not strike a deal with the witness? Specifically, did you furnish the witness with confidential case details in exchange for this music box disc that revealed the existence of the peephole in the pawnbroker's storeroom? I did. Stop! What are you doing, man? It's all exactly... Oh my gosh. It's all exactly like the young Eastern lawyer said. When the trial resumed after the recess and we were stood here in the stand together, that's when he approached me with a deal. Shut up, you imbecile. Shut up! You're the detective who turned up that pawn shop the other day, aren't you? May I have something you're looking for, Inspector? With me at this very moment. How about a trade I suggest you accept? Or information that may make certain individuals uncomfortable will soon become very public indeed. I couldn't let that information become public knowledge, not under any circumstances, so I accepted the man's proposal and told him the details about the case that should have put him in the clear. The peephole in the storeroom door, and the bloodstains on the overcoat. By giving false testimony, the witness intended to have the defendant wrongly accused of some murder. Inspector, you knew that. Yet you still revealed those details to felicitate the witness's perjury. I did. But when it turned that the people had only been that night after the incident took place, well, Scotland Yard wasn't aware of that. I'm perfectly honest. Well, Mr. Graydon, what do you have to say for yourself now? There's nothing and no one left for you to hide behind. You struck a deal with the inspector in order to escape the conviction. Namely this. You are the third intruder who broke into the pawn shop. And you are the one who killed Mr. Windibank. You. Traitor!
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh!
Uh-oh. He's really mad.
He killed him?
I don't know.
Bailiff! Restrain that man! At once!
What did he just do
Did
to
he kill the inspector?
I don't know.
We just heard a snap. That's it then. It's all over. What happened? I despised my life growing up, those slums, those vile places. I was cursed from birth, born into poverty, the son of a penniless artisan. My parents did nothing but quarrel all day long. What little money they had was never spent on me. Boo-hoo! So I set about studying to better myself, to one day escape from that hole.
And you eventually became a communications officer. I admire your determination.
But then you decided to sell government secrets.
Why?
Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I wanted money. Even now, years later, the nightmares of my life in the slums wake me in the small hours of the night. Wanted to drown them out with more money than anyone who ever lived could see. Then one day I met him. Magnus McGiddled.
Oh, you...
You're a fiend with a square talent. So you are. I've money to throw your way if you're interested. All you need to do is go along with me plan.
There you go. I was able to steal the ministry's telegraph message logs, and McGiddle would buy them for a handsome sum. As I was responsible for inspections in the ministry's communications office, it was simple.
The lure of the devil's offerings. How easy it is to succumb. Well, you must surely have realized the seriousness of the crime you were committing.
And for that reason, I took great lengths to ensure that my actions were untraceable.
By using the music box.
My father was a brickmaker, though my mother divorced him when I was still a child. Yeah, Mr. Mason Milverton. That's right. He was very skilled with his hands. He had once been a music box maker. I imagine his skills would be sufficient to create a machine that could generate Morse code. So I sought my father again to employ his services. It was the first time I'd seen him since I left the slums.
Old
Look
man.
at you, Ashley. What a fine gent you become, eh?
He was a different man to the one in my memory, a thin, frail old man. But poverty had never broken him, never corrupted him completely. I was sure that he wouldn't help me if I told him the real reason. So I made up a story. I've got some work for you, Father. I need some music box discs made.
Music box discs? A musician friend of mine has written some music.
Oh, that's me.
Ah.
A musician friend of mine has written some music he would like to sell to the public. I've brought the score with me. There are two, actually. I'd be
delighted, son. It's been 20 years since I did any work like this, though. Fetch my tools with you. They're in the loft.
His father wasn't a traitor. That's how I made him make the two discs.
Thereby splitting the information in two. Were considerable precautions indeed.
He got his own father
It was to
killed.
protect myself as much as anything. It meant that I could deal with McGiddle in two separate transactions. The first involved the discs and the music box for playing them. I exchanged them with McGiddle for 10 guineas. Then, one receipt of the second disc, he would pay 1,000 guineas. So, what happened on the omnibus 2 months ago was the second part of the deal, the exchange of the second disc. Yes. I sold the man information that way a number of times, but it seems he became reluctant to part with his money.
Well, that doesn't quite make sense, Mr. Graydon, for why it was on the omnibus 2 months ago your father, Mr. Milverton, was the one dealing with McGiddle, not yourself.
When I received the 1,000 guineas after my first completed dealings with him, I decided to give 200 to my father for his troubles. I guess that's nice. But my father realized something was amiss. In time, he worked out that I must be involved in something dubious. And when he did, he said to me,
Next time there's an exchange,
You let your old man do it. Otherwise, I won't take your money anymore.
He wanted to get his son out of the bad life.
That was my father's way of dealing with it, I suppose. Climb into the omnibus, hand over the second disc, and take the money from McGiddle, that's it. He had no idea what was actually on the disc I'd asked him to make, he never knew. Just like I'll never know why everything went so horribly wrong that night.
Maybe he said no.
All I know is the truth that the disc was taken from him, and he never returned home.
Maybe McGill. Oh my gosh.
It's on auto, honey. We can't stop. We gotta read what's written. Sorry.
I know.
It was only then that I found out that sort of monster McGiddle really was. So after 10 years of not once uttering it, I swore my father's name. To exact revenge. Revenge?
He killed him.
He killed McGiddle. As anyone with even the remotest knowledge of the man will no doubt be able to imagine. McGiddle brought all his wealth and influence to bear in the most despicable of ways. To crush any semblance of justice in this trial. The crime scene was tampered with, evidence was fixed, and the witness was bribed. The trial 2 months ago was a farce from start to finish. My feet had barely touched the British soil back then, too, and I walked into the hornet's nest completely unaware of the sinister background of everything. I made plenty of money out of my dealings with McGiddle by then, so I spared nothing in my arrangements 2 months ago. I knew exactly who to hire. If you're willing to pay the price, there are people in this city willing to do anything you ask. McGiddle himself had shown that to me. Are you saying that... I think you have the picture now. After he twisted everything to his favor in the courtroom to ensure that he walked free. I took matters into my own hands and delivered justice that monster deserved. That tragic accident following the trial 2 months ago was planned and executed by yours truly. You killed McGiddle?
Oh, yeah, he sent people in to tell him.
It was caused by him. Yep.
Remember, McGill had said there were people that...
Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. Yep, I get what you're saying, Amber. What's this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I realized. I hope it's not too inconvenient, sir. There are some changes to the schedule. Well then, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked so I could be present for it myself. Yep. So that policeman who came to McGiddle was you! That's right, an imposter. Hired by me. Nope, it wasn't me. McGiddle used his wealth to manipulate the trial. He paid people to, do something in the omnibus. He threatened the witness to lie in her testimony. So I gave the man a taste of his own medicine. Once the omnibus was doused in some liquid, the sham of the policeman ushered him inside and sent McGiddle up in flames. An eye for an eye. That's how I avenged my father's death. A spine-chilling account indeed. But that wasn't the end of it for me. There was loose ends, you see. Loose end, huh? Yes. I should think it's obvious. The second disc, which my father had taken to exchange with McGiddle. Ah, yes. There was indeed no mention of it in the man's trial 2 months ago. Clearly because it was removed from the scene of the crime. When I realized it was missing, I remembered something. Something from the first time I dealt with McGiddle. This is the first of 2 discs, and the music box you need to play them. Well, look at that now. What an ingenious little invention. So then, as promised, 10 guineas for ye, young man. What? What's this? Winterbank's pawn shop? Aye, 'tis a pawn shop's ticket, so it is. So we can use it to redeem the article I've deposited.
There's no need to give a name, just hand the ticket and you're free as a watchword. I put a jewel in a pawn for you. You fetch a lot of guineas. I've had a pawnbroker been used in quite a ways before. Have you not, Mr. Graydon? London's pawnbrokeries are very useful, you know. Each one of them is extremely secure.
Okay, so they continue their discussion.
It's a lot of explanation.
It's too much. So I knew that he had taken steps to hide the disc. It would be hidden at that pawn shop somewhere. And on that night, he killed my father. He must have entrusted the ticket to someone. Yes, to Gina. I see. I remember now. That when we first met you at Windibanks that afternoon 2 days ago, you had a description of Miss Lestrade written down. How did you know you were looking for her? From the trial, the pickpocket's testimony was clearly peculiar. Anyone could see that. I realized immediately she was another McGiddle's pawns, that he must have threatened her somehow. I was fairly convinced it would be her who had the ticket, so I started to make some inquiries. I had a strong suspicion the girl would come out of the woodwork on the redemption deadline. And he was absolutely right. And yes, sure enough, she did. All I needed to do was wait until the girl went to Windibanks to redeem the articles, but unfortunately she redeemed only McGiddle's overcoat and the one disc that was in the pocket. The all-important music box with the second disc inside was missing, because it had already been forfeited 2 days earlier. No, but I was unaware of that fact. I had not been, I could have avoided my nighttime excursion.
Meanwhile, as our investigation into the stolen government secrets was progressing, we'd picked up the fact that McGiddle was involved.
Inspector, you've recovered fast.
My orders were to recover the stolen info as quickly as possible, so we decided gathering the fellow's possessions and examining whatever we could lay our hands on. We had a full-scale investigation going on at the yard, but we had to keep it quiet as we could.
Then, when the inspector here took the disc from me in the pawnbrokery that day, I became nervous. I was sure the music box and the second disc was still there in the shop somewhere, so I knew that it was a race against time. I had to find those articles before the police did. So that's what prompted you to break into the place at night. With the help of your old friends, the Skulkin brothers. What happened that night in the pawn shop? I can only describe as a nightmare. While Nash and Ringo were searching the counter, I'd been located the music box and that I sold to McGiddle.
And the second disc was inside.
Yes. I slipped it into my pocket with a very deep sigh of relief. But then, something entirely unexpected happened.
What are you doing in my shop? Bang!
He shot him in the shoulder.
Yep. A gunshot rang out in the shop, and I felt a sharp pain in my arm.
Unnecessary exposition. The broker fired his gun with a bullet in your arm.
Yes, and it hurt very much, but unfortunately, I decided to bring my own gun with me that night, just in case.
He did shoot
He
him.
shot him. He shot back. Before I knew what was happening, I had fired back. The man had already turned to flee. I hadn't intended to fire in his direction, much less kill him. But unfortunately, for both of us, the bullet hit home. It struck him in the middle of his back as I fled through the storeroom door.
A shoddy tale. But you're going to get the death penalty.
It took place in a blink of an eye. I don't imagine Nash and Ringo even realized what happened. I was terrified, so I fled. And that's the whole story. That's everything that happened at Windibanks that night.
He didn't actually intend to kill anybody.
Doesn't matter. Still killed him. He's still a spy. Bye-bye. Lights out.
There was a reflex shot. Yep, VG shine. At least he did one. I mean, I don't want to say because it's kind of dark, but I do feel like
he killed 2 people.
I know, but he took revenge for his dad, which I feel like was kind of noble.
Yeah, but he still killed 2 people, and he's a spy. He's dead.
I know.
Earlier, you called McGiddle a monster. A man who used both his wealth and influence to distort the facts and escape justice for his crime of murder.
I mean, it could be seen as self-defense.
What tragic irony, for which you have done, is exactly the same.
Yep. Whatever you said, honey, I agree.
You've become the very monster you saw and despised so deeply in Megiddo.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not the same.
Yes, I think I have.
No, because he feels bad about it, and he wanted to help his... He felt bad about his dad. I don't believe he's the monster at all.
Well, that's been a long and exhausting trial. However, it would seem that at last we've arrived at the truth. Inspector Gregson, what of Mr. Ashley? He's been restrained, my lord, and is being escorted to the yard. He'll be charged with murder of Mr. Winterbank and stealing government secrets. Very good. And you, Inspector?
Yeah, but didn't he kill Morgan?
Regrettably, you will have to face charges yourself. Yes, my lord, of course. It transpires that you were complicit in hiding a criminal. That remains, whether or not you are doing so in the line of duty. Therefore, the crime is a serious one, Inspector, and inexcusable. Now to the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Amber, you gotta...
Oh, yeah?
It's time for the final judgment. The jury is ready, Mr. Foreman? Yes, sir. Squadron ready, standing by. The last push, the final call, the finishing whistle. My men are ready to deliver their verdicts. Thank you, Foreman. Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do your job. You will now declare your final decisions.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
I thought
Not
they already
guilty.
did.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
A 3-hour trial, I think.
Maybe we should on tour.
Haha! That's the stuff! I'm off the hook! Finally, Bruno! You finally managed to do it!
Finally is the word. I really wasn't sure that it would happen this time.
Susie was right! You're the best lawyer there is!
Miss Lestrade, I'm not finished with you yet.
What? What are you looking at me like that for?
Before you start enjoying your freedom, there are certain other crimes to consider,
Perjury.
2 months ago in my courtroom, no less, you gave false testimony, did you not? In relation to the trial today, not only did you unlawfully enter the Winterbank's property, you also attempted to abscond with Mr. McGittle's property.
I've never done nothing of the sort.
Of course not. It's not like you were gleefully wearing McGittle's coat in your cell yesterday or anything.
And just when I was getting excited about throwing a party for Guinea.
Turning our attention to the defense, determining that you, when played together, the music box also contains a message in Morse code was, well, it was certainly a most unexpected revelation, Consul. Yes. Quite so, my lord. The prosecution was caught entirely off guard. In fact, I think we could applaud my learned friend's courage here today. I propose a toast to demanding that the government secrets be before the entire court. Very sorry about that. It was the only way I could get the inspector to admit that he'd done something bad. If I may say something at this point, isn't that... Amber.
It's the sound produced by the music box before. I do wonder if that was really Morse code at all.
What? What are you saying, madam?
Oh, well, it's just that I'm really fanatical when it comes to Morse code, you see. So much that the whole world seems to be covered in dots and dashes to me. In fact, stop.
Goodness, madam. Unhealthy level of obsession one feels.
But I must say, in my opinion, the sounds produced by those discs were nothing more than that meaningless series of 2 different tones.
What? What? Can that really be it? The brick maker changed it.
He changed the...
It wasn't Morse code after all? My lord, the defense would like to listen to the music box again.
Are you out of your nut? How many times do I have to tell you? Those discs contain important secrets. This courtroom is not an appropriate forum to discuss the nature of government communications. We know Megiddo conspired to trade national secrets with our enemies. Now that the man has admitted to his crimes, we have no need to pursue the matter further.
But it's really gonna bother me.
Mr. Lestrade,
Yeah, my lord.
that which you have been seen today in this courtroom has been extremely disturbing. Falsified evidence, intimidation, perjury, a grim catalogue of depravity. Yes, appalling experience to befall any child.
Come on. It ain't nothing I don't see most days in the back slums.
I beg your pardon.
If you're weak, you pay for it. That's just how life goes.
Gina.
Well, look, I reckon I've worked something out today. The world ain't fair, but if you want to change it, you've got to start at home. You've got to change how you are to yourself. How you are yourself.
Good enough.
Well, that's a very laudable lesson, I would say. I eagerly look forward to the born-again Miss Lestrade never gracing my courtroom with her presence again. All right, this has gone on long enough. Now, regard to the murder of Mr. Winterbank, the pawn shop over at Baker Street. I hereby declare the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, not guilty.
Whoa.
There we go. Yay! But she's still going to jail. Perjury is a serious offense. Several years in prison, I think. She had fireworks too. Nice. Easy, Amber.
That is all. Court is adjourned.
Oh my gosh.
These two are going to say something now.
Yes. On a personal note, I must say you've surprised me, my Far Eastern friend.
Huh? Oh, okay.
Despite being a Nipponese, you saw through the pretense to malice that festered within those Englishmen, and at the same time saw through the grim to surprising heart of our English client. You have a curious talent for judging character, especially considering our very different cultures.
Okay. I don't think there's anything curious about it. Whether we're from the Empire of Great Britain or the Empire of Japan, we're all human beings. We're not very different at all inside.
Very wise. You know, I took this case for one very simple reason. To lock swords with you once again here in the courtroom.
You did?
Yes, when I encountered you for the first time 2 months ago, it reminded me of toasting friendship and trust with another Nipponese, only to find my trust betrayed. Through you, I hope to look into the eyes of the man I once knew and try to understand.
You mentioned something similar earlier today about total betrayal at the hands of the Japanese.
Oh, that's why he is...
What happened exactly?
He's distrustful of Japanese because somebody who was Japanese hurt him.
Well, you may ask. And one day, when the time comes, you will learn the answer, whether you like it or not.
Alright, I guess we'll have to wait for the second game then.
Yes, there will be a sequel. It is called The Great Resolve. On this collection, coming to be known as the Reaper the Bailey in my retirement from service 5 years ago, it gives me cause to wonder if our meeting has some deeper purpose. So, farewell, my learned friend. Until we meet again in the sequel! Ha 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 ha.
Organ music.
I know. Vampire.
He's scary.
He is scary. Alright. Antechamber. The Old Bailey. Defendant's antechamber. Cool beans.
Lucas styling even with a bad throat.
It's done! It's over at last!
Finally.
I'm a true professional, ladies and gentlemen. But, where's Iris disappeared to? Ah! Congrats, Gina. I knew it all along. I knew that you were innocent.
Gah. Well, you did what you said, Mr. Naruhodo. And you believed in me right up to the end. You're as old as your name.
What's odd about it? I told you I had faith in you, didn't I?
No one ever, as before, you see, kept a promise, properly.
That's awful. I feel bad for you.
I figured something out today, though. All my life, growing up in the slums, I never trusted anyone, but that's just 'cause I've been scared. The more you trust someone, the more it hurts when they let you down.
That's true. Yeah, I think I can understand that, Gina. After all, I had a taste of that in the trial 2 months ago. I chose to trust someone and paid for it. That betrayal left a big scar in my heart. You know, though, Gina, I worked something quite out recently, though. Trusting in someone else is really an exercise in learning to trust yourself. And when your gut tells you it's the right thing to do, and your trust is rewarded, there's no better feeling in the world. I think I would have to thank you for reminding me of that valuable lesson.
Oh, well, if you say so. Don't make a far of losing what or doing
I have no idea what you're saying with your British tongue, but for putting faith in me, thank you, Gina. It's been a real pleasure.
I don't know what I was saying.
Got a bit tongue-tied, did you know?
For crying out loud, pack it in, Bruno. Oh, I suppose I sort of feel the same way. Kind of. Sometimes just trusted someone else's, alright.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
This is the way I see it, Ryunosuke.
Uh-oh.
Yep. A defense lawyer is only as good as the faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. I am Ryu. After this experience, I'm starting to feel like I understand what you mean, Kazuma. Kazuma the Ghost. I'm living up to your expectations, I hope. Am I turning out to be the lawyer you believed I could be?
I think you're developing schizophrenia because you can talk to
I
him
am not.
when he's not there.
What? No, I'm fine. Pardon the interruption.
You were talking to a ghost.
But what the deuce does a man have to do with being noticed around here, my dear fellow? Oh, that voice! It's too late for that voice now, Mr. Naruhodo! I've been standing here patiently in the corner of the room for an eternity!
It's Holmes.
Ah, yes! It is me all along! I would have said when you noticed me. But you people! You're incessant babbling! You're the king of babbling!
Oh, Mr. Sholmes!
Ah! Yes, it was me all along, you see? Oh my gosh. Please, no randomness. I'd assume you'd been taken back to the hospital, to be honest. Indeed I was, but I managed to escape again. Oh, that's not good.
Wow.
I happened to be unaware of one or two foibles of the doctor who was tending to me. I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily issued me with a leave of absence. However, how very above board. I have no idea what that means.
It means I think it means you're not complying with the rules.
But enough of my adventures. That was a fine victory, Mr. Naruhodo. Your tireless efforts justified reward, I feel. Congratulations on order. As a close friend, I tip my hat to you.
Close friend?
Thank you.
Some great detective you are. Great at being cold as ice, maybe.
I have irked you in some way, Miss Lestrade.
Well, you've been having a snooze in your nice soft bed. Some of us have been fighting for our lives.
Well, that bullet did cause me to lose a substantial amount of blood, it's true. So I have indeed been feeling somewhat cold, not perhaps as cold as ice, but well, I have a feel. Could you take your hand off my neck, please, Mr. Sholmes? It's kind of weird. And, in some way, I suppose, congratulations are in order for you too, Miss Lestrade.
What's that supposed to mean? Why so half-hearted?
Well, naturally, it wasn't my intention to alarm you, but...
What?
Any acquittal in a trial with that particular prosecutor was perhaps a little precarious. Well done, Mr. Sholmes. Not alarming in the slightest.
Oh? The Reaper, you mean?
Yes, quite.
What of it? Because anyone who's found not guilty in a trial is working up winds up dead anyway.
The very point I was trying to make.
Great.
As exemplified by the fate of Mr. McGiddles, in fact. But of course, I pay no attention to such irrational drivel myself. Haha.
Haha. Yeah, well, it don't bother me none.
Oh, really?
Yep, because I'm almost done with the trial. Course not. The way I see it, the Reaper's a bit like I'm upstairs.
Him upstairs? You mean like God?
Yeah. Him upstairs, who knows what's what and stuff. He knows what's going on. He won't have got the wrong end of the stick. There's some coves like that bog trotter that are rotten at the end of the day. Him upstairs, make sure they do get what they deserve.
I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Careful, Amber, you're going to knock over your coffee. Divine justice is one thing, though. The Reaper taking matters into his own hands and claiming lives is another.
Well, I ain't like the McGildeds of this world, so I ain't scared. I got principles and stuff.
Ah, principles.
Yeah?
A trait in which it is to be admired, Miss Lestrade.
Oi, just give her a rest, alright?
As I was saying, congratulations are in order. The news of your acquittal was very welcome news to me indeed.
If only I could go home after this instead of talking for another hour.
No unnecessary dialogue, please, Amber. Let me express my heartfelt congratulations, Gina.
I don't want no congratulations. I want to go home. Well,
There, it's Iris.
There you are, Harley. How long have you been there? Oh, honestly, I went to the main entrance especially to see you.
Ah, Iris, my dear, I do apologize. But wait until I tell you what happened. This pair made utter fools of themselves.
What happened, Harley?
As you know, I have a perchance for disguise. I was hiding in this room dressed as a bailiff.
Oh?
And these dolts didn't notice my presence at all. Ha 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 ha. They had no idea.
You've gone blimey, Harley.
Can you imagine, Iris? Would you credit it?
You're crazy. Oh, I'm not sure, really.
I beg your pardon.
I'm sorry, Harley, but you just don't have the weighty presence you seem to think that you have.
What?
In fact, you really ought to be careful about that. It's going to land you in a lot of trouble one day.
Ah, I'll be careful. Ouch.
No one really reads your books. Anyway, it's such a shame. I was hoping to throw a party for Guinea tonight.
No!
But you won't be able to come, will you, Runo? I mean, Guinea.
Don't look at me like I'm gonna be going nowhere for a while. You are the judge's patter. I've got stuff to make amends for, apparently. All them offences and such not. What was it again? Breaking and entering, taking a bog trotter's stuff. What was it like? Blah, 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 perjury.
Yeah, I think you'll find that basically being a pickpocket is the main offense.
Huh? But diving ain't really offense. It's a job, isn't it?
I don't think so, no. No.
It's not a legitimate job, though. Still, it has got me thinking all of this. Maybe I should start looking for maybe another line of work. I mean, you didn't start off as a lawyer, did you, Odo?
Well, no, but I was never a pickpocket either.
Well, anyway, I reckon I could make a change. I'm gonna do something for all them lot like me from the slums. Something that makes a difference for 'em.
That's a wonderful idea, Guinea. I'm sure you can do it. What is it?
She's crying.
Nothing.
Miss Gina Lestrade! The prison carriage has arrived, ma'am. Come with me to the rear gate at once. Whoopsies.
Right. Well, looks like I'm off then.
Goodbye, Gina, and good luck. I hope your sentence isn't like 10 years.
Odo.
No? Yes? What? What was that for?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say, so...
Ah, indeed. Perhaps the situation calls for the phrase, hitherto missing from the vocabulary, Miss Lestrade.
Ah?
On occasions such as this, I would recommend a simple thank you.
Oh, alright. Oh, yes. It's good advice, Skinny. Right, I see. Well,
Get on with it!
Thanks, Odo. Thanks. Thanks. Thank you for everything you've done, for believing in me.
Cute. No, not at all. In fact, that should be my line. Thank you, Gina. Okay. Is that the end or not? Oh my gosh! Why? Well, there she goes. I wonder if we'll ever see her again. Just like my sidekick. Well, well. Quite the indomitable pickpuss.
Oh, I nearly forgot. I have 10 more years of dialogue to talk about. I brought a paper from outside. It's a special edition, and there's trials all over the front page. Pickpockets, innocence proven. Isn't it wonderful?
Oh, you should have shown it to Gina, Iris. She would have been thrilled. Now she doesn't have anything to look forward to in jail.
Oh no, how silly of me. Oh, but anyway, would you like the good news or the bad news?
Not again.
Well, what do you say, Runo? Hallie?
As usual, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first, please. Absolutely not. I've no intention of listening to anything but good news.
And there you have it. How people answer that question says a lot about them, doesn't it?
Let's not go there, okay?
Alright then. Maybe we'll start with the good news. The rain has finally stopped. It was a record level of rainfall, perhaps.
Well, that's good news indeed. I didn't bring my umbrella, so I didn't want to get soaked on the way back, being that I was shot and I have a cold, so that's a great comfort, I suppose. Alright then, what's the bad news?
This huge storm has left the seas very choppy. The channel in particular is awful, so sailing out of Dover has been delayed for a day or more.
Wait, Dover?
That's right. If we head to the station immediately, we may still make it to time to wave Susie off.
Huh.
You're still there waiting.
But there won't be a train, surely. We couldn't be that lucky.
He has to
Why do you think I am? Who do you think I am, Mr. Naruhodo? Mr. Sholmes? You're Batman? I rushed to Victorian Station earlier and made arrangements for a special express.
What?
If we hurry now, we shall be there in time for dinner, but if we continue here prattling for another hour, we will miss our cutscene. And I know of a fine restaurant that serves the most delicious baked sole. I don't. The great detective does it again.
I don't know what that is,
Indeed he does.
but I'm hungry.
I happen to be aware of a number of rail transport directs. Whatever. What? It's British gibberish. Doesn't matter. I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily laid out a locomotive. Elementary. Oh, just an idea, but it might be wise to stop manipulating people that way.
What are we waiting for then? to London, Victoria.
Up, and a storm has rolled in. Up, we get a cutscene. No, we don't. No, we don't get a
18th of
cutscene.
18th of April, 5:32 a.m., Port of Dover.
Ah, we could have wrapped this up with an animated cutscene, but we're cheap. So more dialogue. And that took somewhat longer than I anticipated.
Susie's boat must be about to leave now.
Miss Susie, my girl, where are you? No one thrown me quite like you, Susie. Susie! She's reading something.
She finished it. She's been reading this whole time.
Miss Susie, wait! What are you doing?
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, what are you doing here?
That's how you sound surprised?
Mr. Naruhodo, what are you doing here?
Okay, alright. We came to see you off as soon as after the trial. I mean, we heard that the sailings were delayed due to the bad weather, and, I'm here.
Oh, I see. Then tell me, how did Gina's trial go?
Do I really have to do a recap? It went well. She was acquitted. Yay!
Let's talk about it for another hour.
No!
Why not? Do you have somewhere to be?
I have another stream!
That's wonderful. Really wonderful news.
Except now it's gonna be delayed again! So I can eat. The book you were about to throw into the sea, it was your Encyclopedia of British Law, wasn't it?
Oh dear. I was hoping you hadn't seen that. I'm not worthy of practicing law in any way now. So I was saying my final farewell.
What are you saying goodbye to law? You? Susie? Would I be correct in assuming it's because of the peephole, Miss Sosito?
I deliberately altered the scene of the crime, and then I tried to hide that fact. What I did is utterly unforgivable.
That reminds me of something else. How did you even come to have this, Susie?
Oh, the evening of the incident, Mr. Holmes had invited Gina to dinner, if you remember.
Oh, yes. We had a wonderful time, Susie.
Well, Gina gave us a little introductory lesson, didn't she? To the art of pickpocketing, I mean.
Oh, that was so much fun. I stole Ryuno's armband.
Yes, please don't ever do that again, Iris. That band's very important to me.
Well, if it's so important, you should pay more attention to it. You didn't even notice for ages.
On a whim, I thought it would be fun to see if I could take the cat Flop-a-mat, so I put it up my sleeve.
Really?
And then, I rather forgot about it until I found myself in Mr. Windibank's shop.
I see.
And then...
No more necessary dialogue, bang.
Bang!
This doesn't matter at all.
Mr. Holmes! Mr. Holmes!
Leave me, Mr. Naruhodo! Right! I'm bleeding all over the carpet. Where was my blood in that scene? Also, why does my coat have no blood on it? These are all mysteries to quandary.
After Mr. Naruhodo had left the shop, I started to think that door started to play in my mind.
The storeroom door? No!
Yes, if Gina was anywhere in the shop, I realized it could only be behind that door. And at the moment, the little device that I had up my sleeve sprang to mind. I was so worried about Gina, I simply had to know.
So you used the cat device to make a peephole. Okay. We already kind of figured that out.
As captured in a photographic print by one of Hallie's red-handed cameras.
Indeed, but are we really going to be talking about this the whole time, or this blasted ship is going to leave little Susie behind?
I want to go over the whole case again.
Oh, by Jove, why don't we? It was the first of importance at that point. Elementary. Precisely when the peephole was made, that information could prove to be Naruhodo's greatest weapon. Though naturally, without proof, it would have amounted to nothing.
How interesting, Mr. Holmes. But when I looked through the hole in the door, the sight of that that met our eyes was
Just
blood.
say you saw a dead body.
Thoughts started to run through my mind. I remember that trial 2 months earlier, the trial of Magnus McGilded.
That's fine.
I thought about how he manipulated the evidence and arranged false testimony. It made the British justice system feel very dark and sinister to me. And then a terrible thought occurred to me. What if some wicked criminal was planning to do the same thing now?
Oh.
Because of the appearance of the crime scene, it looked exactly as though Gina had shot Mr. Windibank, even though I was sure she would have never done such a thing.
You were worried about the true culprit would try to frame her for the crime, weren't you?
That's right. But then I realized that I'd forgotten to eat breakfast that morning.
Keep going, Amber.
It would be very difficult for anyone to give false testimony in this case.
What do you mean? Please explain more!
Well, the crime appeared to have happened behind the door of a locked room. For someone to claim falsely to have witnessed it there would have to be a way to see beyond the door.
Ah! For which I will add more exposition. The peephole would be the very thing, you see. Let's talk about 20 minutes about a blasted peephole.
Only the peephole I had made wasn't actually there until after the crime had been committed, of course. And the criminal would know that, so it wouldn't make any difference.
But the possibility of a rather ingenious trap was there, was it not? Aha! A trap? Is that why she did it?
So, is that why you kept it a secret? You never mentioned that you made the peephole to anyone, not even to the police.
I know, and I knew at the time that what I was doing was wrong. A criminal offense, even. That's why I decided to confide in Mr. Holmes. If Mr. Naruhodo was completely backed into a corner with no other possible means of escape, the truth about the peephole could save him. That was my weird plan.
Wow, she really does think of everything. Although if she just would have told the police at the beginning, then it would have been a much shorter trial! But then, why didn't you just tell me everything before the trial began? Oh, my dear fellow, you're not thinking straight about love. What? If she had done that, it would have rendered you complicit in the whole escapade. Oh. She protected you, you dof. You would have been disbarred and never been a lawyer again. Boo-hoo-hoo. So Miss Susie decided to shoulder off the burden of responsibility alone. For your sake and Miss Lestrade's. Ow! Miss Susie.
The truth is, when it happened, I did it because I lost a little of my faith in the law.
Oh? Please tell us more.
Well, when I was 5, I once got a lawyer thing out of a Cracker Jack box. The moment I allowed myself to think that...
What about the Cracker Jack box?
...is the moment I lost my right to call myself a judicial assistant. ...
What you did isn't comparable to what they did, though.
Yeah.
Graydon is the one who lied in the witness stand using the peephole, and you have no idea who Graydon is, so now I'm going to explain everything.
Who's Graydon?
No.
Please start telling me about the trial.
Your ship is leaving. Now boarding for the ship. If you don't come down, we're going to leave you behind.
I just need 10 minutes, 1 hour. I just need a half an hour.
No more time. We're dinging the boat.
I need 20 minutes.
Susie, your ship is leaving. But let's talk about the peephole and the inconsistency about it. I'm not sure.
No, never mind. We're going to break for tea and crumpets. Then we'll be letting off. Have your little conversation, you weird Far Eastern lovebirds.
I'm not at all sure that she should have been acquitted in the end, though. Miss Susie, what you did saved Gina's life.
Oh my gosh, really? Well, with your kind words, Mr. Naruhodo. Excuse me. I don't know what that was. It was like a hiccup.
Hiccuper. All right.
It was not. I'm really...
Finish.
It was a hiccup.
Finish the endearing lines.
You saved me, too, from my regrets.
I regret to inform the boat that we have no more scones. Would anyone care for some crumpets still?
Well, we must all be thankful to Miss Lestrade's freedom has been assured, and that Susie is going to miss her boat. Why don't we all go to dinner? Yes, exactly. Although some of the loose ends in that trial will continue to play on my mind, I'm sure.
Last call for the boat. Anyone else want to go on a trip? If not, just stand on the dock talking in the middle of the night. It's fine.
But the revelation that the music box disc contains secret messages, Mr. Naruhodo! What a triumph to work that out! I'm full of admiration for you!
Have my baby, Susie!
That's inappropriate! Oh, it wasn't!
There was a communications officer among the jury members, you see. Telegraph operator.
We're coworkers and that's harassment!
Wait until the second game. And she said that the majority of the sounds on the disc were just meaningless tones. Ah, yes. As one would expect, after all, they're all talking about secret government communications and whatnot. No doubt they were written in this cipher to avoid being readily understood as they were intercepted. What? In a cipher, I see. So then, we could never have hoped to understand the message anyway? Nonsense, my dear fellow. It's quite zero pipe problem, I assure you. Alright then, we're just gonna leave you lot behind if that's alright. We do have a schedule to keep now that the storm's passed. So... What?
Asogi. Asogi.
Well, that can't be a real word, can it? How funny.
Wait, Iris, what did you just say?
Oh, I just said asogi. Asogi. What does that word mean something to you?
Means something? Asogi was the name of my best friend!
Oh my gosh, what? But how?
But how would you know that name, Iris?
I wrote it down during the trial before, when the message was playing on the music box.
She transcribed it on the fly? She really is a genius!
I thought the message probably wouldn't be written out in plain Morse code, so I tried other kinds of code, but whenever I tried, the words didn't seem to make any sense. And then I tried, that is, in English at least.
Oh!
It suddenly occurred to me, you see, that there's more than one Morse code, not just the English variety. Various countries in the world have altered and added to Morse code to use it for their languages.
I don't believe it! Are you saying?
I'm saying I'm going to explain more!
No!
That's right! That's right! I've only actually seen a chart of Japanese Morse code once before, but I memorized it because I'm a genius. But I think it's based on the Iroha pangram.
And you mean to say that in
Anagram.
Japanese Morse code, the message was asogi?
Yes, I think so. Sorry, I don't remember all the Japanese Morse code.
Iris, would you let me see this?
Miss Susie, do you now understand Japanese Morse code? By some plot device?
I'm using magical powers. Yes, I spent some time studying it when I was 4. Because I'm quite sure Morse code would become ever more important for international communication.
Ah, yes, let us spend time talking about, Morse code. Then I might recommend, my dear madam, that you focus on your efforts on the English version.
No, I'm Japanese! How dare you! Be that as it may, Iris, thank you for being awesome.
Of course.
But, what can this possibly mean?
Whatever is that long sequence of supposedly meaningless dots and dashes? It's made the color drain from Susie's face.
There's no doubt this message is written in Japanese Morse code.
So the British Empire has been using Japanese for its secret communications?
I don't understand the reason why. The message appears to be a list of 4 people's names.
4 names?
The first is K. Asogi.
Kazuma. Why?
His name is Kazuma.
He's dead. What does it matter?
The second is A. Shin.
Shin? I don't recognize that name.
The third is T. Gregson. Gregson.
Gregson?
Yes, Gregson.
Ah, it would seem that Tobias Gregson is the 3rd man on the list. And what's his name doing on a secret government communication as well?
This is a hit list.
I think so.
Oh my gosh, it is a hit list. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Kazuma's dead, honey.
Oh my gosh, I was just saying that as a joke. What's the matter, Susie? It's just so strange. So unexpected.
You're gonna have to continue, honey.
Oh, what is it, Susie?
Wilson. What? My father? What are you saying? Are you telling me he's dead? How cruel!
Yep. Wilson?
Why would we do this in front of Iris?
John H. Wilson, you mean my daddy?
Oh dear. Well, this is going to be interesting.
I'm being a crying,
Okay,
whatever.
alright.
It says J. Wilson, so I'm afraid I just can't be sure. Then after the 4 names it reads, if I translate from Japanese, it says that is all 4. And that's the end of the message, or rather the end of what you noted down, Iris.
I just can't believe it. Why would they ever... Yeah, but the reason why Gregson isn't dead is because the message wasn't intercepted by the agent.
Whoa.
Those discs contain Japanese Morse code. Not to mention a strange list of some disturbingly familiar names. It would appear that this particular message is communication of some very kind of between Great Britain and the Empire of Japan.
So, Daddy could be in Japan then, where Susie and Runa came from. I hope he's having a great time.
Oh no, Susie, don't tell her.
Oh, well, I know that your dad is dead. Oh.
No, it's not very likely, really. I mean, there are thousands of people with the surname Wilson. There must be lots of J's among them.
Professor John H. Wilson, visiting professor of medicine at Imperial Yumi University. But we can't tell Iris about that now. We just can't. We can't crush a 10-year-old's dreams. This is so strange. Somehow, your boat is left without you. In solving the case of Mr. Windibank's murder today, there it goes. I feel like they've rolled back the boulder at mouth of a very dark cave.
I do wonder if perhaps it's a dark cave that we shouldn't go wandering inside.
Why don't we discuss this for another hour? Oh, now they decide to honk the... Okay,
The boat's
all
been
right.
there- the boat's been there.
This
this
is
whole-
seriously the last call for our boat. The captain had a little bit too much to drink, but I think it's alright for us to travel now. So if the couple on the deck will just kiss and make up, then we can be on our way. Tea is finished and the crumpets are all gone, sadly.
Oh dear, the ship looks like it's gonna sail, but I'm pretty sure I have another hour yet.
I think we have enough time to talk, Susie.
I do too. That guy will definitely wait for me. I'll sail in the steamship first to the port of Durkin in France. Then I will change into a larger passenger vessel bound for Japan. I hope I wasn't on the hit list.
She's not.
You're really going then, Susie?
Yeah, we already said goodbye last night.
Her father is sick, you jerks. We wish you a safe passage, Miss Susie.
Now you want to kiss the girl?
Thank you so much. I wish all of you the very best.
Miss Susie, wait! I had hoped to have you always at my side to guide me and support me. I'm so alone.
Mr. Naruhodo, what's the matter with you? You're so needy.
Please come back to me. As far as I'm concerned, you really are the very best judicial assistant in the world. Ah, jeez.
Oh, I feel so bad because I'm going to be surrounded by rich, young Japanese guys when I go back. I'm quite sure I'll be back before you know it, and I'll probably be married when you see me next.
Really, Susie? Oh.
Oh, don't forget, Iris. I made you a promise I've yet to fulfill.
A promise?
About your manuscript.
Oh yeah, the Hound of the Baskervilles. Let's talk about this as the ship is leaving. You're gonna have to run, Susie.
Well, I'll be waiting for you, Susie. A promise is a promise.
Definitely, Iris. Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes?
I find you annoying and I'll be glad to be gone. I mean, do you really remember the first time we met?
Yes, of course I do. How can I forget? It was on the ship when I was dragged out from the wardrobe, still half asleep. No, it wasn't. I remember rightly, you threw me halfway across the cabin with the Susato takedown.
Oh, you know very well that I'm talking about after that. Or do you want to be slammed on the ground again?
Gentle, Andy, gentle.
It's strange, but being thrown together as we were in that case, I somehow felt straight away that you were the perfect person to continue Kazuma-sama's greatest legacy.
Susie.
And my instincts were right. I really want to believe. No, I'm sure that.
We're gonna have a family of amazing lawyers? Yes, we will.
I'll be back soon. Farewell until then, coworker friend.
Nope. You are Phoenix Wright's descendant, as am I.
You can't prove that!
Time travel!
Somehow we seem to have come to the end of the adventures of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Or the first volume, at least. Looking back now, it feels as though fate has led me on this journey.
How did the cat get there?
Fate led me to becoming a lawyer, to traveling halfway around the world, to meeting the great detective. I'm sure there'll be trials and tribulations ahead. Of course there will. But whatever happens, I know I'll be able to turn my fortunes around.
How did he get his Stradivarius there? You know what? It's fine.
After all, I have the greatest friends in the world on my side.
Wow, that ship moves fast.
Yeah, because they have to make up for
They gotta make up for time.
lost
Yeah. All right.
They were waiting on the dog for an hour.
No, please!
Oh, no! Make it stop!
Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. You thought it was gonna wrap up with that nice little exit. Yes, Mr. Sholmes? I have something rather awkward news. The railway company has decided to sue over the special express train, apparently. What? Oops.
Oh, it caused such a commotion on the line, and all the other trains had to wait at the stations.
But really, we would never have made it to Dover in time otherwise. So, anyway, I explained everything and how it was all your fault. What? I believe a formal complaint should be delivered to your offices tomorrow. But not to worry, my dear fellow. According to Miss Susie...
Your love defending yourself. You love defending yourself in court.
What?
It's alright. I'm perfectly happy to testify. He really didn't look like the sort of man who'd do something so outrageous. See?
Mr. Sholmes? Yes? Word, if you don't mind. Why, certainly, we have time. It's not like there's anything else anyone wants to do today. Any word you would like. Bellow it out, my dear fellow.
Oh, yes. I love Rena's words, and I know exactly where they,
Then I really must say...
Objection!
Objection. Alright, so anyway, guys and gals, that does it for the first game in the Ace Attorney Adventure series. Yay! Thank you, Capcom, for providing a copy of this game. And, as it stands, another Let's Play is complete! Booyah. No! In the following weeks, hundreds of music boxes arrived at Baker Station from all over Europe. Something was afoot. Those who had transpired, I had ordered them all myself. So I advised them for sale with used by Mr. Sholmes to solve an important case. And the money I've earned, consulting detective work, pays a pittance by comparison. Okay. So there's Mr. Sholmes. It's showing you all the stuff that all the characters are doing. Have fun, Amber.
Oh, I haven't slept a wink. This manuscript is due tomorrow. When I'm on a busy, Harley usually cooks. Well, cooks is an overstatement for some dry toast and a sip of coffee. I do miss her, Susie, and her lovely Japanese breakfast that she makes.
The music by the Ace Attorney guy. Gina in jail? Oh no. Witnesses, your testimony! It is I! It's riddled with contradictions!
Exactly, really do rare but I had a rare
Well, adios, sorry, something or other. Poppycock, my son is not a liar. Witness, my courtroom is no place for petty arguments.
Mortal Kombat judge.
Mortal Kombat Judge!
Having delivered the Russian dancer to shore in Shanghai, I've laid low on the steamship for a while. I have not gone back to my job at all, but last night I apprehended an extremely suspicious Japanese national on board. I have done nothing wrong! All I did was give Waggy's offspring refuge in my pocket. A man brings some kittens on board and suddenly he's harbored criminal. It's not fair! Oh! Well, now we know what happened to him. Oh my gosh. Yep, clear your throat, because they're probably going to be female. Oh, never mind. Scientific investigation will be the gold standard for policing in the new age. Our dream of world governed by tenets of order and discipline, like a great clock, in fact, whose hundreds of parts mesh together in perfect unison. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have but 2 minutes and 37 seconds until my next appointment, and these end credits have another half hour to go. Enjoy them. A 4-hour stream.
The latest magazine is out, and I'm in it again. Wherever I say one line she wrote now, I get standard, "No, you can't have my tea! Put that down!" Not bad, I suppose, for an amateur.
You scallywag.
Aha! Well, look at that. Her ladyship puts me to shame. But I'm not in jail.
Yeah.
You should be, Greggsy.
Yeah, you should be in jail
You've
for...
been a very, very bad inspector. Man, I'm disappointed in you, Greggsy.
I say, been visiting the old girl on a daily basis, of course. Joni, my old jailbird. Must say, battling with those bally stairs every day has done wonders for my leg. Managing rather well with the housework, too. Got this maid business tapped up, I'd say. I hope the gossiping neighbors don't realize the man of the house is his own maid.
You put your wife in jail? For what? Oh, accidental murder. Never mind.
Except for it wasn't murder.
She covered it up, though. That's Patricia.
My Rolly is back on the beat again. Oh, thanks to you.
Oh, there's nothing I do enjoy more than hauling some change in the gutter. I'm a better bobby now, looking out for Londoners. They're dropped hard pennies and my lovely wife. Oh, Pat!
Oh, Rolly!
Yeah, we have to see every single person we met along the way.
No.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Every case.
No.
Gina's in jail.
Looks like I'm gonna be doing time for a bit now. But Iris comes by every day for a natter, so it ain't too boring. She's always going on about all them cases, what Holmes is looking at and stuff. Criminal investigations are kind of interesting when you get into them, I suppose.
Oh, there's Gina. Okay. Good timing.
If Gina was wearing a dress instead of like a kind of like an outfit for little boys, she would look so much prettier.
There's a time skip in the next game. Yes, I renounced my upbringing and closed life of sophisticated crime, but regrets, please. How are you not dead?
Give me over, bruv. That ain't Ash we used to know. Yay, ain't time to get playing comeback, Merriton, Skulkin, right? Right.
The Three Musket Whatsits. Milking neighborhood for all it's worth. How are you not dead?
Yeah.
You killed 2 people.
Enjoy the gallows, says Cookie.
Yeah. How is he still alive? I don't get it.
All the ones that are alive anyway, we get to see, says Groggle. Yeah, we don't get to see
Susie's ghost.
This past 6 months has been a time I shall remember evermore. Painful goodbyes and wonderful encounters. I've come to realize that's what life is about.
Naruhodo-san, I promise, your assistant will return to you one day. But for now, I leave you with many memories and a heartfelt wish that life will treat you well.
Aw, very sweet. And of course, my random monologue. Let's see. Aw, there's a picture of everybody. That's cute. And the cat stealing my hat.
Sholmes' shoulders in your face.
Yep. That's it. That's the end of the first
Oh,
game.
we should have gotten like a picture.
Yeah, I should have, but oh well. Come on, that's the end of the game. No, it's not. More credits. More credits? More credits. So I was going to tell you all the people behind the game, and it shows Kazuma walking into court for the first time. Yay! So you have to walk past every single character that you met in the game. There is the original prosecutor, there is the waiting staff, there's all the witnesses, there's the inspector. That's cool. I mean, they really went out and did a ton of detail for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Very well made game. I mean, they had to make the game so that it was very intriguing to try to figure out the different cases and stuff. I mean, you had to think really hard. You had to think hard to play the game. How much more difficult would it be to make it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, thank you again, Capcom, for providing a copy of this game. It was really fun. We liked it a lot.
And we'll be doing the second part of the game tomorrow, which has another 5 cases. So we started the series, I want to say July 17th. So we'll be playing Ace Attorney for the rest of this month and into September. That's my guess. Because the next game is longer, and now Kazuma stays behind and he's gone. Goodbye, buddy! Now we meet the last case. The Russian girl. The Russian girl, yep. So, pretty much I can tell you what the second game details. The names on those lists was in fact a hit list. The fact that Kazuma died was completely accidental, but someone was supposed to assassinate him, along with Gregson, John H. Wilson, and the one character we haven't met yet, Shin.
Why were they all on the same hit list?
Because there's a very big conspiracy that's going on between Japan and Britain. So...
Why?
I don't know what to tell you. I know that's what the premise of the second game is. So, basically, Susie and Ryunosuke get involved in a plot that pretty much takes down government officials in the next game.
I bet this guy is dirty.
Possibly.
I think he is, because he just seems like a jerk.
And you'll see a lot of returning characters from London again. Although, I believe the next game has them traveling the world. I think they go to France and Japan and Britain again. And there's also, they ride a train in one of the games.
Scientists said it started 22 days ago.
22 days ago? And we're on the 21st episode. Wow. Oh, there you go. Well, I mean, no. There were some days where we didn't continue this every day. There was issues where we had internet problems, we had throat issues, all kinds of stuff. This is a very demanding series. Like, it's the hardest thing that we're doing right now.
I liked it how she said she put that thing in her sleeve, because I have heard that women used to, like, in certain cultures, like, go shopping, and, like, their sleeves actually could act as, like, little bags where they could actually hold things in their sleeves. Like, they were kind of like purses.
So now Sherlock Holmes is gonna stay behind, and then Iris is gonna join the group. Iris is gonna walk behind Susie. Yep, there she goes. So these 4 main characters will be the main characters of the second game. Susie, Sherlock, Iris. Oh, I think Iris is a little older. I don't remember. So they were all doing the same pose, basically. There's Gina. Da 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 da.
Oh, Gina's very cute.
Nope, she's gonna hit us with a smoke gun. No, she tried to. Unsuccessful. The thing I'm amazed by is the fact that they're able to let Naruhodo carry his sword around everywhere. They had certain rules in London back then about weapons, so the fact that he's just nonchalant carrying that thing all over the place. And only samurai and very important people in Japan are able, even during the Meiji period, were able to carry their swords around. So I mean, he's not of like any like samurai bloodline or anything like that. So
yeah, you're right.
I love how they bow. That's really sweet. It's like, thank you for playing. Yay!
People from Japan are so polite.
The Great Ace Attorney Adventures is complete.
Fiend.
The first game. Yay!
And another Let's Play is complete.
And now it'll unlock the second game. You want a picture of that? Once that little thing goes away. There. Got a picture of that. Yay!
That was only the first half, says Tiger X.
No, that was the first game. There's another game. It's called Resolve. All right. Anyway, guys and gals, that's it. That's all. Thank you so much for watching. Join us tomorrow as we start the second game, the Great Ace Attorney Adventures 2 Resolve, part of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles series, where we will uncover an assassination plot spanning the past 5 to 10 years over 4 incredible stories, 5 stories, and a return of a character that you're not expecting. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys late tonight with Mario and Luigi. It'll be around 9:30. I need to rest my voice, eat some dinner, and that's it. That's all. All right, guys. Thanks so much. See you later. Bye.
See you guys.